This is Major League Baseball postseason play on 570 News.
This is the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
Fly ball left field, deep. Chavez back, jumps at the fence, and it is gone for a home run for Pujols. Curveball is over the outside corner for strike three. Ball headed for the ball. It is gone. Home run, Chris Carpenter.
The New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. Next.
So who could have ever seen this coming? The St. Louis Cardinals, who won only 83 games this season and nearly suffered the biggest collapse in baseball history, now sit one win away from eliminating the heavily favored Mets and advancing to the World Series. The Cardinals have gotten great performances from their rookie relievers, huge hits from their bench players, and inspiring efforts from their banged-up veterans, including third baseman Scott Rowland.
I want to go out there and compete and grind and scratch and claw and do whatever needs to be done. I don't think there's a judge or a barometer of any kind to say what can and can't be done. When the pressure's turned up a little bit and when the game's on the line.
The Mets are in an unfamiliar position for them this season, needing a win. They coasted to the East Division title and then swept the Dodgers in round one. Now, can they find a way to beat St. Louis twice in a row? Third baseman David Wright thinks they can.
Go out there and you just do everything you can. It comes down to this. This is what we worked hard in spring training for. This is what we worked hard in the offseason for. And it comes down to winning 2 games in a row. We've done it many times this year. We got the home field advantage. I'm sure Shea's going to be rocking. And we have to play mistake-free baseball.
The Cardinals have reigning Cy Young Award winner Chris Carpenter going tonight. The Mets, with their season on the line, counter with rookie John Maine. It's Game 6 of the National League Championship Series from Shea Stadium in New York. Next on ESPN Radio.
2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio is presented by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Live from Shea Stadium with Dave Campbell, here's Dan Shulman.
And we welcome you to Game 6 of the National League Championship Series here on ESPN Radio. A must-win game for the New York Mets. The starting pitchers, John Maine for the Mets, Chris Carpenter for the Cardinals, both making their way as we speak from the bullpens back toward the dugouts. The Cardinals soup, without Mark Mulder, a guy you figure a lefty would have helped neutralize the Mets. Without Jason Isringhausen, their closer. With their top 3 relievers being rookies. With 4 of their 8 position players having pretty significant injuries. With Jeff Weaver, their number 3 starter, having been let go by the Angels midseason. How improbable a story have the Cardinals written so far in the NLCS?
Well, when you were talking about those things, all I could think of was a quote by Washington Post baseball writer Thomas Boswell that more than any other sport, baseball creates the magnetic, addictive illusion that it can almost be understood. I don't know. I mean, this is something that is totally improbable. I think you heard Scott Rowland talk about it in the pregame show. If everybody was going to be honest, they would have been seeded 8th coming into this postseason, and probably the Tigers 7th the way they limped in. But, they've gotten some good work from, in the first round from Ronnie Belliard. Jeff Weaver has pitched terrific baseball, and who would have thought that, the way he struggled earlier in the season. And Jeff Suppan gave him a heck of an outing, so we'll just have to see.
What do you expect from Chris Carpenter tonight?
Throughout the final month of the season, he did not throw between starts because he was starting to wear down a little bit. He wanted to throw a tune-up session before this start to try to refine his mechanics. If he found the key to that curveball, then I think he'll probably be sharp, but he was not sharp in Game 2.
John Maine, his 3rd postseason start. Tim Kirchin talked about it on the Insider segment of the pregame show. The one thing that he can't do is what he did last time when he walked 5 batters in 4 innings.
Yeah, I mean, back in 1948, the Boston Braves played the Cleveland Indians, and the rallying cry for the Braves was spawn insane and pray for rain. Well, for the Mets, they're a one-man pitching staff right now with Tommy Glavine, and both of his starts have been preceded by rain, so it's Glavine and rain, and as the Mets fans say, please pray for John Maine.
In perhaps the strangest note that we've ever gotten from our good friends at the Elias Sports Bureau, this is the 7th time in Major League history that a team trailing 3-2 in a best-of-7 series, has sent a rookie pitcher to the mound, and those teams won all 6 of the previous games. The most recent instance was Tim Wakefield to the Pirates in 1992. You talk about something you can't explain. That's right at the top of the list.
Yeah, one name that jumped out, the only one that really looked the least bit familiar other than Tim Wakefield in 1992 was Paul Dean, Dizzy Dean's brother, who won Game 6 for the 1934 Gas House Cardinals when they beat the Tigers in 7 games. So there is a little bit of Cardinal tradition there as well. But, you know, for the Mets tonight, we've seen John Maine pitch 2 ball games, and in the first inning of both of them, he just came out smoking. I mean, throwing strikes and just gassing the opposition. And then something happened between the first and second inning in both outings, and he just didn't seem to have the same firepower.
Do you think in a must-win situation like this is for the Mets that young players like Jose Reyes and David Wright, who have struggled by their standards already in this series, is there more pressure? Are they squeezing the sawdust out of the bat, or can you put that out of your mind?
Well, only those 2 players can answer that. The one thing, though, that has really stood out in this series more than anything else is it appears that Jose Reyes has been intimidated by the Cardinal catcher, Yadier Molina. Reyes stole 64 bases this year, but against the Cardinals' Molina, he was thrown out 3 out of 5 times, and he has shown a great reluctance to run when he's gotten on base. The only time he went, Willie Randolph had a hit and run on, and against Chris Carpenter, that's not a guy you really can steal very easily off either.
The lineup cards have been exchanged. The umpires have congregated at home plate. Gary Darling will work the plate. Tim Welke, the crew chief, is at first base tonight. He'll work the plate if there's a Game 7 tomorrow night. Jim Joyce at second, Jerry Lane at third, Field and Culbreth at left, and Jeff Kellogg at right. And momentarily, we should see David Wright and Jose Reyes, as has become somewhat of a tradition for the New York Mets at home games, as the 2 precocious youngsters on the left side of the infield come out side by side, sprinting onto the infield and leading their teammates onto the field. It's a packed house here at Shea. Everybody is standing right now awaiting the arrival of the Mets. Here comes Reyes, here comes Wright, and there they go to take the field. That'll bring us now to tonight's starting lineup, brought to you by Xerox. With a Xerox multifunction system in your office, you've got every position covered. Print, copy, scan, fax, and email. For the visitors from St. Louis, the leadoff hitter is the banged-up shortstop, David Eckstein, with the sore fingers and the sore shoulder and everything else he's got going on, but he is in the lineup. Batting second in left field, Scott Spezio. Hitting third at first base, Albert Pujols, who hit that big home run last night off Tom Glavine. The cleanup hitter tonight is the center fielder, Jim Edmonds. And batting fifth at right field, Juan Encarnacion. Hitting sixth at third base, our pregame guest, Scott Rowland. Ronnie Belliard at second base, batting seventh. Batting eighth and catching and having a fine series, Yadier Molina. And batting ninth and pitching tonight for the Cardinals, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Chris Carpenter, who is 2-0 in the postseason this year, 4-0 in the postseason in his career. But he did give up 5 runs in 5 innings to the Mets back in Game 2. Received a no decision as the Cardinals rallied late to win it. For the Mets, the same starting 8 of the position players that they've been using the entire series. Leading off the shortstop, Jose Reyes. Paul LaDuca, the catcher, will hit second, and Carlos Beltran is in center field, batting third. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman, Carlos Delgado. Batting fifth at third base, David Wright. Sean Green in right field, hitting sixth, and the number 7 hitter again is Jose Valentine, the second baseman. Hitting eighth in left field, Andy Chavez, and batting ninth and pitching tonight for the New York Mets, 25-year-old rookie right-hander John Maine. 6-5 with an ERA of 3.60 during the season. Made 15 regular season starts for the Mets. Pitched reasonably well in Game 1 against the Dodgers back in the division series. Gave up 1 run in 4 1/3. But again, his line looks a little better than it was. That was the game where Jeff Kent and J.D. Drew both got thrown out at the plate with Maine on the mound in that crazy play. And then in his start in Game 2 of this series against the Cardinals, 4 innings, only 2 hits. But he walked 5. He gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned. He allowed a home run to Jim Edmonds. So 2 starts for Maine in the postseason. He's gone only 8 1/3 combined. You know they're in a foul mood here in New York with their team up against it right now. They're even booing David Eckstein as he steps in. And we are underway with Maine pumping in a fastball at the knees for a called strike. Eckstein is 5 for 19 in the series, hitting .206 in the postseason as the 0-1 runs up and in and almost hits him. A ball and a strike on the player that Tony La Russa said before the game is the toughest player, has the highest pain threshold of any player he's managed. The 1-1 is low, ball 2. And this wasn't any, pound for pound he's the toughest player. He said, plain and simple, this is the toughest player he's ever managed.
Well, what he's going through right now, he's proving it. He is beaten up in every part of his body.
The 2-1 and a swing and a bouncer down to third. One hopper right at David Wright. He'll fire across to Delgado. Eckstein retired. 8:20 Eastern Time. Here's the time of the first pitch tonight here at Shea. 69 degrees at the game time. A very nice night. Felt like a cool summer day more than a mid to late October evening. And if there is a Game 7 tomorrow night, weather is not expected to be a factor. It will be cooler, but we're not expected any threatening rain anyways. We might get a little bit here and there. The point being, I think if there is a Game 7, we'll play it tomorrow night. Scott Spezio is the batter. He's back in the lineup in left field as he takes a strike. Spezio's driven in 5 runs in the series.
Yeah, Maine, like his previous 2 starts, pounding the strike zone in the first inning.
The right-hander rocks into the windup, and the pitch to Spezio is up and away. It's kind of a revolving door in left field and right field for Tony La Russa, trying to ride the hot hand or play the matchups. And he's got 5 guys to consider for 2 spots every night as Maine fires in about a 56-footer, and it bounces over the shoulder of LaDuca all the way to the backstop. 2-1 on Spezio. Defensively for the Mets, Wright is now backed up behind the bag at third. Reyes at short. Valentine at second. Delgado at first. Spezio swings and misses. And the count now 2-2. Chavez in left. Beltran in center. Green in right. LaDuca catching Maine. On their feet now at Shea, as Maine gets to a 2-2 count on Spezio with Albert Pujols on deck. Spezio batting from the left side. And the pitch, a swing and a foul off to the left.
Danny, one of the things, much to the consternation of the Met fans, is that the brilliant Jose Reyes, and he is going to be one of the great players in this game, has been outplayed in this series by David Eckstein. 391 to 261 on base percentage. Eckstein has 2 stolen bases, Reyes none, and that kind of grates on some of the Met fans, and maybe that's why they were booing David.
The 2-2 is outside. Eckstein made that great defensive play in the first inning of last night's game as well. That's where he hurt his shoulder, but he made the play. And all you have to do is ask Angel fans about what David Eckstein meant to them back in 2002. Full count on Spezio. 1 out. Nobody on. Just underway here in the top of the first. The pitch and a swing and a little pop fly dropping into shallow right field. A base hit. Spezio hits it off the end of the bat for a bloop single into shallow right.
Sean Green's probably got to start looking at Spezio and go, Scott, why are you picking on me? He hits one into the corner that Sean just misses getting over the fence. Then he hits a bloop triple down the right field line that Sean was diving for. And this one he hits a bloop into right center field, and Sean can't get there.
Here's Albert Pujols, and they reserve the loudest of the booing for Pujols. Not thrilled with what he said about Tom Glavine, and there have been a lot of columns written about Pujols in the New York papers as Maine starts him with a strike. You give a story a little life, like Pujols allegedly disrespecting Glavine or being a little surly with the press. You start a little brush fire, and it becomes a huge fire in New York City, and the columns continue to be written here. The 0-1 is a curveball high, a ball and a strike on Pujols.
Well, I think Brian Burwell, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist, wrote a rather scathing article about Albert yesterday, and I think it got Albert's attention about, just how disconnected he's become with the media.
1-1 is low. Pujols went up to Burwell and told him that his uncle, who was one of the key people in his life, one of the people who helped raise him, passed away 8 days ago, and how that has been troubling Pujols. And Burwell says that Pujols repeatedly said to him, "Do you feel differently about me now that you know that?" The 2-1 is fouled back 2-2, and Burwell, according to the article, repeatedly said, "I'm not sure. I have to think about it a little bit, but the word locally in St. Louis has been is that Albert hasn't been that friendly the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Burwell intimating that this has been going on much longer than 8 days. He'll give Albert the pass, but Albert at the end went up and talked to Burwell and said, "You're right. I need to start enjoying this more." And he seemed a little more open the last day or so.
Spezio at first, 1 out in the top of the first inning. And the 2-2 to Pujols, a swing and a foul back. Maine challenged him with a belt-high fastball. Fired it in there at 93 miles an hour. Paul LaDuca thinks that John Maine, when he's throwing strikes, has a chance to be a dominant pitcher. And he had a scoreless streak. I think it was 26 innings during the regular season. He's got ability. He sets. And again, the 2-2, and a curveball is lined down the left field line. A fair ball. Rounding second, heading for third is Spezio. Chavez's throw comes to third as Pujols rumbles into second. And had Chavez thrown to second, there might have been a different outcome on that play.
Well, Pujols was going to go back to first base if Chavez threw to second. That's the second time that Albert, with that bad hamstring, has come around first base and waited to see what the left fielder was going to do with the ball. And the first time, Chavez made a wide throw at second. Albert realized that and ran to second. This time, he was about halfway to second. He stopped. Chavez threw to third. Albert just cruised into second base.
In spite of that blip on his record when Carlos Beltran threw him out earlier in the series, when he must have confused the number of outs or misread the fly ball or something, Albert Pujols, although he's not a fast runner and although he's not healthy right now, he is still a very good base runner 9 times out of 10. It's scored as a single, and Pujols taking second on the throw. So it's second and third, 1 out. The Cardinals threatening right away. And here's Jim Edmonds, first pitch swinging, and he pops one up out of play on the left side.
Danny, just to cap that story by Brian Burwell, and one of the things, the expression he used was Albert is in a joyless pursuit of excellence. He is so focused, but, as Burwell said to Albert when they talked behind the cage, you've got to learn to enjoy this. Manny Acta, the coach of the Mets, told Albert, hey, take a deep breath.
The 0-1, and Edmonds fouls it back. I mean, Pujols is kind of at the public relations fork in the road right now. It could go one of 2 ways with him. And as those who have dealt with him, and I've only dealt with him on a limited basis, but when he's in the mood, he is as engaging and thoughtful and interesting as any player out there. He is just incredibly intense, and he has looked at the media as nothing more really than a bother so far this October. The 0-2 to Edmonds, and he swings and misses. A big out for Maine. 2 down.
Boy, is it ever. Looked like he went off speed, and bottom fell out of that. Evidently a changeup, and he doesn't throw a lot of them, about 10% of the time, but that was a great pitch.
So now second and third, 2 outs, and here's Juan Encarnacion, the right fielder. 3 for 15 so far in the series. Had 19 homers and drove in 79 runs during the regular season. At third, Scott Spezio. At second, Albert Pujols. The Cardinals threatening in the top of the first. Maine works from the stretch, and he misses up and away, ball 1.
You talk about engaging. I mean, Barry Bonds has a reputation of being constantly surly. He's had many days where he's been very open and engaging, too, but you just don't know what you're going to get on a given day.
Maine gets a sign from LaDuca. And the 1-0 drills Encarnacion up around the arm, I believe, as he tosses the bat away. He tried to kind of cover up and protect his body. And I'm not sure if it hit him in the arm or if it got through. As we get another look on our monitor, hit him in the left bicep, I believe. Encarnacion drilled by a fastball. He'll go down to first. The bases are loaded, and Rick Peterson, the pitching coach, is on his way to the mound.
Well, another critical situation here. I mean, Maine dodged the first bullet, making a tremendous pitch on Jim Edmonds. But all of a sudden now, bases loaded, and Scott Rowland, who is chomping at the bit to try to get something going offensively with a chance to give the Cardinals an early lead. Big part of this game right now for the Mets.
Bases loaded, 2 outs for Rowland, who, when asked pregame in our interview about can you do what you want to do with your shoulder in the current state that it's in, he said, I can do what I can do, and that's all that matters. He said, I'll go out there and do whatever I can. It doesn't matter if I'm healthy. I am what I am, and sounded like Popeye there a little bit. And he'll do the best that he can.
Well, he looks like Popeye. Look at those biceps.
Here's the pitch from Maine. And a first pitch swing and a foul back by Rowland into the upper deck.
Boy, that was Scott's pitch right there. About thigh high, and he was right on it. John Maine, good thing he had a little extra on that fastball because Roland had a tremendous swing at that pitch.
Roland drove in 95 runs during the season, but struggled down the stretch as the shoulder started to bother him more and more. The 0-1 is a fastball up above the belt, a ball and a strike.
Well, that's where they want to pitch him, because with that left front shoulder really troubling him, it's very difficult to get up on top of a fastball above the waist.
At third, Spezio. At second, Pujols. At first, Encarnacion. 2 outs in the top of the first, no score. Maine sets. And the 1-1, a swing and a ball popped back out of play again, 1-2. Again, it had a lot of the plate. That ball was up again. They're on their feet again here at Shea. You heard the pregame comment, and the quote was posted up on the video scoreboard here at Shea. David Wright saying Shea will be rocking. And it is early here tonight. Maine waits for Roland to settle back in. Now the 1-2 pitch in the dirt, and a good job by LaDuca to reach out to his right and just get a piece of that ball with his glove. Otherwise, a run might have scored.
Well, that's a terrific play by Paulie. Not noted as a great defensive catcher, but boy, he saved Maine's bacon right there, because that ball had a run ticketed all over it.
That's about the third pitch that Maine has bounced in, and I don't mean close enough that a hitter might swing at it. Either a foot or two outside or a foot or two short of the plate, or a combination of the two.
Well, a couple of veterans right now, Carlos Delgado and LaDuca, they are kind of babysitting and wet nursing Maine, try to get him through this first inning. They're just both in there for a conversation.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Roland with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the Cardinal first inning. Ronnie Belliard on deck should the inning continue. LaDuca gets back down and is crouched behind the plate as Maine sets. And the pitch, a swing and a fly ball shallow right. Green started back, now comes in, makes the catch, and the inning is over as the Cardinals leave the bases loaded. Chris Carpenter to the mound for St. Louis. When we come back, no score through half an inning. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The following is an OnStar conversation.
OnStar emergency, this is John.
We were just rear-ended.
Are there any injuries?
Yeah, my husband's in pain right now.
Every month, OnStar offers help in thousands of emergencies.
Okay, I've got you on Gender Road. I'll be contacting emergency services.
Police station.
This is John with OnStar. One of our subscribers had just been involved in an accident, and there are injuries. I can conference them in.
How many cars are involved?
I don't know. We were rear-ended.
And you're injured?
My husband, I'm not sure where he's injured.
All right, we'll get medics out.
Just letting you know we're still here on the line with you.
The peace of mind OnStar offers is more affordable than you might think.
Paramedics are here now.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll go ahead and disconnect so they can help you out.
Appreciate it so much.
The first year of OnStar service is included on new OnStar-equipped GM vehicles, and unlimited use of all safety and security services costs only $24.95 plus tax per month after that. To experience OnStar, press your blue button or visit onstar.ca. OnStar by GM.
Every home team chooses its colors to be distinctive and memorable. Every home can do the same, thanks to the excellent quality and dazzling colors of Beauty Tone Paint, only at Home Hardware and Home Building Center. With our unique color palette system, you can always find the perfect combination to match your taste and style. Beauty Tone Paint, only from Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays Baseball Club.
Street's award-winning ales are the talk of the town. There's rich amber tank house ale, batch crafted with 5 different malts and a mountain of Cascade hops. And our sensational stock ale, a 100-year-old recipe from when blondes were brilliant and Mill Street was just off the hook.
That is the story of the Mill Street Cruise.
Now at hundreds of LCBOs, the beer store, and Mill Street Brewery.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium here in New York. Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you on a terrific night for a ball game. Temperature up near 70, clear skies overhead. The Cardinals had their chances but left the bases loaded in the top of the first. And now their number 1 guy, Chris Carpenter, goes to the mound for the second time in the series. 5 innings, 5 runs, and uncharacteristically 4 walks allowed in Game 2 in a no decision for Carpenter. Jose Reyes, Paul LaDuca, and Carlos Beltran will be the first 3 hitters for the Mets again tonight. Reyes is a guy Willie Randolph desperately wants to see get going. Reyes has not stolen a base in the series, has not been his usual force at the top of the order. He's hitting .261 in the LCS. The first pitch to him, a little high, ball 1. Reyes during the season hit .300, and he stole a major league leading 64 bases. Rolling in on the grass is the 1-0. He shows bunt, and he takes a strike over the outside corner, says Gary Darling. And that'll leave it up at 1-1.
Before Reyes gets on, if he does, we'll remind you again, in 3 years, 19 runners have tried to steal on Carpenter, 4 successful in 3 years.
The 1-1 and a swing and a ball drilled deep right center field, and the Mets are going to take the lead. A leadoff home run for Jose Reyes. 1-0 New York.
Well, maybe he can't steal a base, but he gave the Mets an instant offense right there.
And that's another one of his dimensions. 19 home runs during the regular season. And they're as great as Beltran is, as great as Delgado is, as great as Wright is. I don't know that anybody excites this crowd like Jose Reyes can. He's going through all his different dances that he's got with all his teammates in the dugout right now as LaDuca steps in and takes a strike. Carpenter gave him a pitch middle in, about thigh high, and Reyes drilled it over the 371 mark in right center, and he's just come out for the curtain call. A leadoff home run for Reyes, a 1-0 lead for the Mets. The 0-1 to LaDuca, and a swing and a fly ball into left center, not deep at all. Edmonds is there, and LaDuca's retired, 1 down.
Well, let's see if Carpenter can settle in. Glavine obviously got a little on nerve with the Pujols home run last night, and very uncharacteristic for Tom, but all of a sudden the wheels came off for Glavine in that one. Let's see what Carpenter, how he responds here.
Carpenter won 21 games a year ago, won the Cy Young Award. He won 15 this year, one back of 6 different pitchers who share the National League lead. Carlos Beltran is the batter, but he'll take a strike. Carpenter's ERA was the second best in the National League during the regular season, next to Roy Oswalt. Here's the 0-1 to Beltran, and another fastball in for a strike, quickly 0-2. Beltran with 3 home runs already in the NLCS and a .316 batting average. 1-0 Mets, bottom of the first. And the 0-2, fastball a little bit inside.
Carpenter looks like he's got a pretty good idea of location with his fastball. I'm not exactly sure what the pitch was to Reyes, but whatever it was, it went out of here in a hurry.
Carpenter's been trying to crowd Beltran on the last couple of pitches. The 1-2 coming in again, and it's just inside. Boy, he didn't miss by much with that fastball, and it's now 2-2.
Well, let's see if he comes with Uncle Chazoo right here. He's pounded him in 3 times to see if he can get him to speed the bat up. Let's see if he drops the hammer on him.
Curveball was a pitch he did not have good command of in Game 2, and it's a key pitch for him. The 2-2, and it's a fastball low. The count is full. The crowd again sensing a bit of a momentum shift even within this one plate appearance. It was 0-2, now it's 3-2. Delgado waiting on deck. And the full count pitch, a fastball grounded down to first, backs up Pujols. He backhands, feeds Carpenter over near the bag. Carpenter steps on first ahead of Beltran, 2 down.
Well, Carpenter, we mentioned, had a throwing session in between starts, which is pretty unusual for him at this time of year. And the rumor was that he was working on the release point on his curveball. I don't think he's thrown one yet. Let's see if he does. Maybe he didn't like his release point, decided to ditch it, although I doubt that.
Here's his former teammate and still friend Carlos Delgado, who hit 2 home runs off him in Game 2. A 3-run homer in the first and a solo shot in the 5th. 2 outs, nobody on. The Mets batting in the bottom of the first, leading 1-0. And the pitch to Delgado, a swing and a foul back. It's 0-1.
Well, maybe Chris is trying to establish fastball early. We see certain pitchers do that. Sometimes Josh Beckett does it, and on a good given day, it'll be very beneficial to him. But we've also seen Beckett get lit up like a Christmas tree trying to establish that fastball first time through the order.
Delgado waiting as Carpenter's taken a long time to get the sign, and now finally Delgado asks for time. The Cardinals, of course, play Delgado to pull, but Eckstein remains on the shortstop side of the bag, basically playing up the middle, rolling way off the line at third. The 0-1 and a fastball is fouled back 0-2, and a good pitch there, a cut fastball by Carpenter, and right in on the hands of Delgado. In the Game 5 last night, and now so far here, we see the Cardinal pitchers, successfully getting in on Delgado.
Yeah, Jeff Weaver pitched him masterfully in Game 5.
Carpenter out in front 0-2. And the pitch, a fastball upstairs, and Delgado bent back away from it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, they're trying to get Delgado from being able to extend the arms comfortably on that outside fastball that he's taken the other way 3 times in this series.
Now the 1-2 from Carpenter. There's a curveball, and Delgado lifts a fly ball shallow left field. Spezio racing in to make the catch, and he's got it for the 3rd out. But the Mets strike first on the leadoff home run by Jose Reyes. And through an inning, it's 1-0 New York. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone, continues after these messages from your local station.
Okay, sports fans, listen up. You may think she loves your rugged good looks, your snappy sense of humor, and the fact that you can chug a bottle while standing on your head, but I got news for you. It's because you make her feel special. So don't even think about buying her the same old jewelry that everyone else has. Go to the master, Robin's Goldsmithing. Robin creates beautiful, original, custom-made jewelry that'll bring out the sparkle in her eyes.
Robin's Goldsmithing, Kingsway Drive, Kitchener.
Hey, nobody rocks like the Robin.
Call 748-5301.
This week on Len's Mill Store Extreme Knitting Garage, Len and crew attempt to create a sweater from a mere spool of red yarn. Will he guide his team to the pullover promised land?
Does anyone know how to use a knitting needle?
Or will the pressure be too much, sending Len into cardigan chaos?
Oh dear, I've stabbed myself.
Find out on Len's Mill Store Extreme Knitting Garage.
Now I'm bleeding quite profusely.
All products seen on Len's Mill Store Extreme Knitting Garage are available at Len's Mill Store.
GM Goodwrench presents Winter Tire Stories.
I was driving on an icy road when a squirrel ran out. Now, luckily, I had on winter tires from GM Goodwrench. They gave me the assurance to swerve and scare the tail off the little devil so he won't ruin my garden in the spring.
Aww. GM Goodwrench, with the right winter tires for your GM vehicle from $89.95 each installed. See store for details. GM Goodwrench service. Right winter tires, right price. Very important.
Hey, have you signed up for the Christmas party yet?
Yes, I did this morning. The sheet's almost full, and it just went up yesterday.
I think I know why.
Is it because the Kennedys are coming?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, I was hoping they would be.
It wouldn't be a party without them.
Book your Christmas party now with the Kennedys. Kennedy's Catering. They'll bring all your holiday favorites to the party, or they'll roll out the welcome mat at their place. For menu ideas, visit KennedyCatering.ca or call 519-747-1313.
This is Major League Baseball postseason play on 570 News.
Top of the second here at Shea. An interesting first inning. John Maine throws 27 pitches. The Cardinals load the bases, but they don't score. Chris Carpenter gives up a leadoff home run on the bottom of the first to Jose Reyes. So the Mets lead 1-0 going to the top of the second in a must-win game for New York. If there is a Game 7, we'll bring it to you tomorrow night. A 7:35 Eastern Time broadcast start here on ESPN Radio. Jeff Suppan will start for the Cardinals. The Mets have not announced who their starter will be because they might need some of the candidates tonight. Ronnie Belliard leads off the inning and takes a strike from Maine. The thinking is it will either be Darren Oliver, the reliever who went 6 innings in relief of Steve Traxel earlier in the series, as the 0-1 misses down and away, or Oliver Perez, the Game 4 starter who, Soup, if he were to start tomorrow night, that would be on short rest, but in a Game 7, all hands are on deck anyways.
Yeah, one way or the other, it'll be a twist to it. So we'll...
Very good.
Yeah, okay.
Steve Traxel is thought to be a long shot to start Game 7. 1-1 and a swing and a high fly ball off the bat of Belliard. Moving to his right a little bit, Andy Chavez settling underneath it. He'll make the grab for out number 1.
Well, once again, Maine comes out. He gets an out there, but it looked to me like the velocity was down 2 or 3 miles an hour off the first inning, and Belliard did not miss a home run by much on that swing.
Other Met pitching plans. Willie Randolph said, don't be surprised if it got to a Game 7 if Tom Glavine found a way into the game if they needed him for an inning. Just about everybody except for Glavine is potentially available out of their pen tonight. Here's Yadier Molina. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1.
The expression is all hands on deck.
The Cardinals have it lined up as well as they can have it lined up with their staff as the 1-0 is in for a strike. With Carpenter tonight and Suppan tomorrow night, their 2 best starters. Their bullpen a little more wear and tear with Kinney and Wainwright last night. The 1-1 and a swing of the ground ball down to first. Delgado's got it. He'll wave off Maine and get to the bag himself. Molina retired, 2 down.
Well, I think that could be the conundrum for Tony La Russa. We talked to him about it before the game, and I said, okay, Tony, here's the scenario. 2-2 tie. You pinch hit for Carpenter in the top of the 8th. You don't score. You go out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kinney threw 27 last night. Wainwright 17. Which way do you go? And he goes, well, if I got the top of my order coming up in the 9th inning with Albert, I may go to Kinney again.
Here's Chris Carpenter, and he'll take a strike.
But the problem for Tony is if he uses Kinney and Wainwright, and if they should lose, he doesn't have much to go with tomorrow night out of the pen.
The 0-1, another fastball into the knees. And Maine out in front 0-2 on Carpenter.
Meanwhile, Willie Randolph has Aaron Heilman and Billy Wagner on extreme rest right now.
The 0-2 from Maine, and Carpenter fouls it out of play to the right. The starting pitching matchup, of course, seen as an advantage for St. Louis coming into the game tonight, even though Carpenter has not been pitching his best lately. But it's 1-0 Mets right now in the 2nd inning. The 0-2, and look out, a fastball is up and in on Carpenter, a ball and 2 strikes. Carpenter turned back toward home plate umpire Gary Darling. Did not appear to say anything, and now goes for a little walk outside the batter's box.
Well, he stuck one under Delgado's chin, but I do not think that was retaliation from Maine. He's kind of all around the place in the early going today.
2 outs, nobody on in the Cardinals 2nd. And the 1-2 is up and away. David Eckstein is in the on-deck circle and going through a modified warm-up routine for him. He's as active as any hitter in baseball in the on-deck circle, but with the soreness in the left shoulder, he's cut back on some of the windmilling of the bat that he normally does. He's also getting pretty close to the plate. He's starting to back off now, but he was about 12 or 14 feet behind Carpenter a moment ago. The 2-2, and it's a fastball just outside. Now a full count.
Whatever kind of batteries David Eckstein uses, I want some.
Here comes Tony La Russa out to the plate. And nobody realizes it. Tony La Russa now has just jogged out right in the middle of the at-bat to question Gary Darling about something. And Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, is coming down. I think they're a little confused on the count right now.
Yeah.
The scoreboard's got it at 3-2. That's what I think it is, too. Not that that means anything. But Jose Oquendo is pointing down to an auxiliary scoreboard down the left field line. I think they think that maybe that was ball 4, but I've got it at 3-2 as well.
Well, we saw in the first inning the scoreboard in right field was different than the one on the auxiliary scoreboard, and the one on the board in center was wrong.
So I think the confusion is over the count, and now Gary Darling is going to do the right thing. It looks like he's going to convene a meeting of the umpires just to get this right. Now, my memory says Carpenter took strike 1, Carpenter took strike 2, fastball up and in, fastball outside, fastball outside. We're going to get a look at a replay now from the gang on the television side. And we've seen strike 1, strike 2, then a foul ball, then a pitch up and in. And a pitch upstairs to make it 2-2. Then this last pitch just outside, 3-2. That is the count. Everybody's happy. We're back to baseball as Carpenter fouls one back.
And again, the operator, obviously it's 2 separate systems, because in the first inning you were holding up your hands with Scott Rowland, 1-2, 2-2, and it was 2-2 correct on one board, 1-2 on the other.
The 3-2 again, and Carpenter pops one up back of first. It'll be the second baseman, Valentine, racing over behind Delgado to make the catch, and the inning is over. The Cardinals go in order. The Mets will come up in the bottom of the second, holding a 1-0 lead. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Harrison, where's that report?
Relax, boss. I'll get to it soon.
Relax? What are you talking about, relax?
I just booked my sun trip with Expedia.ca. Got the hotel I want, the flight I want, so now I can just chill till it's time to hit the beach this winter.
You're fired, Harrison.
Cool.
The Early Bird Special at Expedia.ca. Book your sun trip by November 15th and relax, knowing your vacation's taken care of. The Early Bird catches the wave at Expedia.ca. Your trip, your way.
Top 3 reasons we're redoing our bathroom. Number 3, no more sink on a half shell. Number 2, I want peaceful thoughts in my bathroom, not wow, this is ugly. And number 1, our budget will be peaceful too.
October 19th through 29th, get no payments, no interest for 1 year on kitchen, bath, or faucet purchases of $450 or more with your Home Depot Consumer Credit Card. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Offer valid in Canada only, excluding Quebec. OAC. Additional terms apply. Your store has details.
Williams, how are things in the mailroom?
Great, sir. We've already won 4 times playing online at FedEx.ca. Too bad FedEx Superbox is almost over.
Almost over? But there are lots of prizes left. We've got to keep playing. We want that trip to the Super Bowl.
We'll need to ship more boxes.
Hand me the intercom. I have an idea. Attention! Effective immediately, nothing leaves this office unless it's in a box. That means no envelopes, no faxes, and no email till November 5th. FedEx Superbox ends soon.
No purchase necessary. Some restrictions apply.
Play today at FedEx.ca.
If you're listening to Primetime, you'll be happy to hear me, too. The Tipster, brought to you by Proline. The games, the picks, and the laughs are all on me. Get started by checking out Proline.ca, and then listen here for who to play. Remember, don't take it too seriously. You know the Tipster never does. And love me or hate me, you can have your say by writing Tipster at fan590.com. So join me, the Tipster, Monday to Saturday, right here on Toronto Sports Radio, the Fan 590.
Proline. Because anything can happen, anyone can win.
Back at Shea, this is Game 6 of the National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio. The Cardinals and the Mets. The Cardinals leading the series 3-2. The Mets lead the game 1-0 on the leadoff home run in the bottom of the first by Jose Reyes. Along with Dave Campbell, I'm Dan Shulman. Glad you're along with us again tonight. And if there is a Game 7 tomorrow night, we invite you to join us at 7:35 Eastern Time. The World Series will begin Saturday night from Comerica Park in Detroit at 7:30 Eastern Time. David Wright will lead off the bottom of the second for the Mets. Wright is struggling in this series. The first pitch from Carpenter's up and in. Wright is 2 for 17. The 2 hits are a homer and a double. He has hit the ball a little bit better than that. He's hit some balls hard, but right at people. But the numbers are not there right now. And he, for the first time in his Met career, has taken a couple of hits in the local press. The 1-0 is swinging the ball, grounded down to third. Roland waits for it. And the throw to first in time to get Wright for the out. There are a couple of articles written about how Reyes and Wright suit, 2 young players, how great they were during the season, but it's a whole different story in October.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was Joel Sherman that referred to Jose Reyes as being AWOL and said that David Wright was A-Rod in October, which was kind of a cut on 2 guys at once.
Reyes answering his critics a little bit tonight with a leadoff home run. Wright grounding out in his first at-bat, and here's right fielder Sean Green. Carpenter's first pitch, a fastball a little bit above the belt, ball 1. Green hitting .294 in the NLCS with 1 RBI. The infielders playing to pull almost to the same extent that they do Delgado. The 1-0 and a swing and a miss. 1-1.
Well, Carpenter, first of all, has got a little better fastball than he had in Game 2. And number 2, he's utilizing it about 85-90% of the time. Normally, his flow chart and pitching chart shows 55% fastballs, much more than that right now.
The 1-1 is in for a strike. 1-2. He's a guy like all good veteran pitchers who will take what's working on a given night and use it more. And if something is not working, he'll try to find a way to make do without it. The 1-2 and a swing and a ball lined between first and second into right field. A 1-out single for Sean Green here in the second.
Well, he's trying to show him his fastball, and that one he had located 2 very well to Sean, but that one was not, and he got it in the middle of the plate. Sean hit it hard.
So now Jose Valentine will be the batter. Valentine has driven in 5 runs in the NLCS, all on the same 2 hits. So the bases loaded double and then a 2-run double. He is just 1 for 18 in his career against Carpenter, but the one came in the last at bat he had against him back in Game 2. Valentine batting from the left side against the righty Carpenter. And the pitch, a curveball, misses inside, ball 1. Green with average speed. He's the runner at first, being held on by Pujols. And again, if the Mets have any thoughts of running, the combination of Carpenter and Molina is as good as it gets in baseball. The 1-0, and Valentine takes down and in, ball 2.
Well, first time Carpenter has worked out of the stretch and missing badly with that 1-0 pitch. Valentine, good fastball hitter, is probably going to sit dead red here. Let's see what Carpenter serves him and what the location is.
It's been about 5 or 6 starts since Carpenter really was at the top of his game. Did not finish the regular season as well as most of the season went for him. The 2-0 and a swing and a ground ball out to second. A belly yard to Eckstein for 1 and back to first in time for the double play. 4-6-3 it goes and the inning is over. We're through 2 at Shea. It remains the Mets 1 and the Cardinals nothing. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone, continues after these messages from your local station.
My name's Alan Chalmers, and I have a story to tell, and I'll say it in a poem because I rhyme so well. Got a little problem with the old cash flow. Where does all that money go? Well, Forbes Motors has taken heed. A low-price policy we've decreed. Get the best price by far on a new Forbes car. Our people will make you feel like a star. Because if we treat you right without a slip, you'll make us your favorite dealership. We're on Weber South in Waterloo, and we'd like the chance to satisfy you. We're Forbes, Pontiac, Buick, Cadillac, and firm on believing. We're number 1 with rhyme and good reason.
York's affinity modulating furnace keeps the temperature in your home from going to crazy extremes. And now get up to a $1,500 cashback rebate or extended warranties with the purchase of a qualifying York system. Call your participating York Liberties dealer for promotion dates, terms, and conditions. York, it's time to get comfortable.
Call your York dealer, Dunn Heating and Air Conditioning, at 519-746-6000, or visit their online showroom at dunheating.com. It's well done by Dunn.
Join Glenn Pelche this Saturday for Ask the Experts, when a special guest will be Jeff Barker, owner of Sirwood Custom Kitchens. The kitchen is the heart of your home. Jeff will share his 20 years experience in cabinetry making to help you with your kitchen renovations. From updating an older kitchen to designing a new one from the ground up or for a new home, Sirwood has the answers to your kitchen questions. Ask the experts with Sirwood Custom Kitchens. If it looks this good, it must be Sirwood. This Saturday at noon on 570 News.
It can affect anyone, anytime. A bank teller, waitress, factory worker, even you. Anybody that spends a lot of time on their feet. It may burn and sting in the morning when your feet hit the floor, or when you stand after sitting for a while. It's plantar fasciitis, and now it's treatable at Advanced Pain Relief in Waterloo. Their cold laser therapy is designed to cool your flaming feet. Book your laser appointment today. Call 519-885-3500. That's 519-885-3500.
This is Major League Baseball postseason play on 570 News.
Top of the 3rd inning here at Shea. Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you on ESPN Radio. Game 6 of the NLCS. The Mets lead the Cardinals 1-0 on a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 1st from Jose Reyes. This, by the way, is Tony La Russa's 100th playoff game as a Major League manager. He's got 54 wins and 45 losses. That is a whole lot of October experience.
Yeah, Bobby Cox has the all-time number of wins, but he's been there a lot.
David Eckstein leads off the 3rd and takes high ball 1. And, of course, guys like La Russa, Cox, Joe Torre, they've got a built-in advantage in these kinds of records because of the extra round of playoffs. 1-0, a little bit outside at the knees, ball 2 on Eckstein.
Well, over the old-timers prior to 1968, prior to 2 rounds of playoffs, because it used to be you won your pennant, you went to the World Series, there was no LCS or anything.
2-0, a little high. Eckstein with that small strike zone, and Maine just can't seem to fire one in there. It's 3-0. Eckstein will be taking here. Maine into his windup, and there's a strike. 3-1.
Danny, Maine this year, first time through the order, hitters hit 151. Thereafter, 261 with a 598 slugging percentage.
3-1 is inside. Eckstein spins away from it, tosses the bat away, and races down to first. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The MLB Playoffs, League Championship Series on the Fan Radio Network.
Back at Shea, the Mets up 1-0 in the top of the third. David Eckstein aboard for the Cardinals on a leadoff walk. And here's Scott Spezio, who singled to shallow right, a little soft fly ball into shallow right for a base hit his first time up. The pitch from Maine, and Spezio has popped it up left side. David Wright, Jose Reyes racing over near the seats, won't have a play. It's about 4 or 5 rows back.
Well, again, David Eckstein has 2 steals in the series. Paul LaDuca certainly doesn't have the feared arm of Yadier Molina. We'll see if Eckstein is of a mind to try to steal second base.
Do you recall off the top of your head, does he always go in feet first? Because with the fingers of the shoulder, would that inhibit him if he were to slide head first into second base?
I think he probably can do either.
0-1 the count as Maine gets his sign. Runner not going, and the pitch to Spezio. Fouled straight back, and it's 0-2.
Well, these guys were instrumental and integral in the run to the World Championship by the Anaheim Angels, then Anaheim Angels, David Eckstein and Scott Spezio. So wearing a different uniform, but still the color red.
Spezio turns his attention to the mound as Maine quickly gets the sign from LaDuca. The runner is going. The pitch bounces in. LaDuca's throw down, not in time. Eckstein just beats the throw as he slid in feet first, stealing second on an 0-2 count.
Yeah, a terrific play by LaDuca, handling a ball in the dirt on the backhand side and loads it up. And I think if Reyes holds on to the ball, they're going to call Eckstein out. That was a tremendous play by Paul LaDuca, who is coming up big defensively tonight.
Yeah, he has really thrown the ball very well in this series. A 1-2 count now on Spezio. Eckstein at second, nobody out. Wright even with a bag at third. The rest of the infielders backed up. Albert Pujols in the on-deck circle. Maine gets his sign and checks the runner. And the 1-2, a swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. And Spezio strikes out, 1 down.
Well, that's been a big pitch for Maine twice tonight. He's gotten key strikeouts, Jim Edmonds and now Spezio. Edmonds with the runners at third and second and 1 out back in the first inning. And now Spezio can't advance the runner. It looks like they're going to put Mr. Pujols on right away.
Pujols singled to left his first time up tonight, and with the base open, they're going to intentionally walk Albert Pujols and pitch to Jim Edmonds instead. Now, Pujols may not be 100%, but with the home run last night and the hard line drive single the first time tonight, he appears to be getting closer.
Yeah, and, Willie Randolph, I think Albert's gotten his attention because Willie early in the series was saying, we're going to look at the situation and we're going to go after him early in ball games. Well, I think Albert's gotten Willie's attention right now, and they've decided they're going to see if Jim Edmonds or Juan Encarnacion can beat him instead.
So, Soup, does it still apply that each time Albert Pujols has been up with a man in scoring position in this series,
yes,
he has walked or been walked? He has not been able or been given the opportunity to put the ball in play with a man in scoring position the whole series.
Yep.
That makes it tough to drive in runs.
You got to hit it over the fence.
Yep. First and second, 1 out. Top of the third, 1-0 Mets. Now Edmonds, who struck out in the first inning. Maine glances back at Eckstein, and the pitch comes in low, ball 1. Eckstein at second, Pujols at first. Pujols and Delgado in what appears to be a friendly conversation near first base right now. Right a step behind the bag at third. Reyes shading over toward the bag up the middle, trying to keep Eckstein close. Valentine playing Edmonds to pull just a little bit. The outfielders are straight away. The 1-0 to Edmonds, very high for ball 2. This may be an early critical juncture for John Maine.
Well, he had one in the first inning and got Edmonds and got rolling. That time he really had that front shoulder flying open. The arm could never catch up. That ball had no place to go but up and away.
Pitch count is very high for Maine, already 56. The 2-0, and Edmonds swings and hits a fly ball to right field. Green setting up to make the catch. He does. Eckstein will tag and scamper into third. Pujols back to first. So it's Cardinals on the corners with 2 down.
Danny, in game number 5, Carlos Beltran hit a ball to right field. It was a mistake by Jeff Weaver at the time, and it stayed in the ballpark. Same thing right there. Jim Edmonds had a home run pitch and just didn't hit it well, and it stayed in the ballpark easily. And once in a while, you got to get away with a pitch, and Maine just did there, in my opinion.
LaDuca's going to head out to the mound to talk to Maine with Juan Encarnacion coming up. Encarnacion was up with runners at second and third and 2 outs in the first inning, and Maine drilled him, hit him on the left bicep with a pitch. Now he's up with the runners at first and third. 2 outs in the third inning. The Cardinals trailing the Mets 1-0. Maine and LaDuca have finished their talk. Maine now ready to go. And the first pitch to Encarnacion, a fastball over the outside corner, 0-1. Delgado holding on to Pujols, and the two great sluggers continue to talk pitch after pitch. Next time the runner at third. The 0-1, a fastball for a strike. 0-2. And here they go on their feet again at Shea. Maine back on the rubber. Looks down to the ground for a moment. Now sets his sights on his catcher. Gathers in the sign from LaDuca. And the 0-2 pitch is a fastball outside.
Don't see that same deer in the headlight look from John Maine that we thought we spotted in his first 2 starts in the series. He was determined early, and then all of a sudden he started looking bewildered. He doesn't have that presence right now.
Now the 1-2 pitch on the way, and a swing and a miss at a high fastball. The inning is over. The Cardinals lead 2 more men on. And we'll go to the bottom of the third here at Shea, 1-0 for the Mets. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The Office Depot 20th anniversary event, and we have great deals to celebrate. This week only, Office Depot has incredible savings on paper throughout the store, like 20% off a 10-ream case of Office Depot brand white copy paper. This is the last week of the Office Depot 20th anniversary event, so hurry in and celebrate the savings. In-store only while supplies last.
The point of commercials is, of course, to get you to do something. For example, we'd like you to go to geico.com and get a free rate quote. But if you're still not reaching for your mouse, at least do this for me. Call a friend who has Geico and ask some questions. Can Geico really save me that much money? Is their claim service as good as, well, they claim? Are they really available 24/7? Once you get your answers, we'll be right here.
Go to geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
Boys and Girls Clubs, Major League Baseball Charities, and Don Shaw Willis on...
Pay attention, guys. This is key. Now step and then kick your leg up real high. Who's next? Both of you guys can do it at the same time. You guys glove? You want to use my glove?
You can use mine.
See, that's a great teammate right there. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That's awesome. That's awesome. Everyone has to have mean faces. Mean faces. What's everyone smiling about?
Boys and Girls Clubs and Major League Baseball. Together they create a positive place for kids.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium in New York, where the Mets have a 1-0 lead on the Cardinals as we go to the bottom of the third of Game 6 of the NLCS here on ESPN Radio. Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you. Andy Chavez, the number 8 hitter and the Met left fielder, will lead off the inning against Chris Carpenter. He'll be followed by John Maine and then Jose Reyes. The Mets must win to extend the series. Chavez is 3 for 19 in the NLCS, starting every day in place of the injured Cliff Floyd, who did pinch hit last night and is available to pinch hit again tonight. Chris Carpenter ready to go in the first pitch of the inning. Chavez runs up to bunt it, bunts it out in front of the mound. Carpenter's throw to first, not in time. A bunt single for Chavez.
Well, we've been talking about that's one of Indy's weapons, and he deadened that ball about halfway between the mound and the plate. And Carpenter, by the time he got it, Albert Pujols tried to buy the call, but Chavez gets aboard to give the Mets a start here.
And now John Maine will be up to try to bunt the runner along. Maine did get a sacrifice down into Game 2. Rolling away in on the grass. Pujols is holding on Chavez at first right now as Carpenter sets. Maine squares, and he bunts through it. Comes up empty, and the count is 0-1. And Maine taps the handle of his bat down in the dirt in disgust that he missed that pitch.
Yeah, and Sandy Alomar Sr., the first base coach, reminding Andy Chavez that Molina will try to pick you off if you get a little too frisky at first base there.
0-1 the count as Carpenter sets. Roland sneaking in, Maine squares, and he bunts through it again. He just plain missed it again, and the count is 0-2.
Well, he's going to get a third chance in all likelihood.
Not a good hitter at all. 1 for 28 with 16 strikeouts during the regular season. 0-2 the count. Chavez the lead at first. Carpenter gets the sign. Maine will square, throw to first, runner back.
There are some managers in this situation that will put the run and bunt on, basically telling John Maine, all you have to do is make contact on the ground and the runner will get there. Don't worry about being so fine with it.
Maine holding the bat above his head right now rested on his shoulder. Now he squares as Carpenter sets. And the 0-2, and he bunts it foul, so Maine strikes out. And Maine very upset with himself again, swinging the bat through the air. He didn't let go of it, but he's very upset with himself that he failed to advance the runner. Jose Reyes will come up now and get a nice ovation. The fans applauding him for his leadoff home run back in the first.
Yep, a little pressure on the defense right now. Chavez will run at first base. Reyes can hit and run, drag a bunt. Great speed, so you start getting happy feet defensively when you have this kind of configuration.
The Mets up 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Roland stays in on the grass against Reyes, and the Carpenter pitch, a fastball in for a strike. Over to 1 the count. As Chavez assumes that lead again, being held on by Pujols. Eckstein shading over near the bag at second. And Belliard playing a bit in the hole, playing over to his left. Carpenter sets. Runner not going in the 0-1. A fastball just off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike on Reyes.
Boy, Carpenter, an entirely different pitcher. Same ballpark about a week later, close to it. But now Carpenter throwing about 90% fastballs, moving it in and out. He was trying to get the curveball to work in game 2, and it was not getting anywhere, getting outs.
1-1 again, a little bit outside. Now the count goes in Reyes' favor at 2-1.
Well, probably a pretty good time to run right here. Again, you're not going to straight steal against Molina and Carpenter, but Chris has got to throw a strike. I don't think you pitch out here.
Sandy Alomar Sr. again goes over to Chavez and whispers something in his ear. Now Chavez gets his lead. Carpenter sets. The runner not going, and the 2-1 bounce down to first. Pujols spins and fires to Eckstein for 1. Back to first, not in time. But they do get the lead runner. Reyes is now at first with 2 down.
Good play by Albert. Get that lead man. Force Reyes to try to steal a base to get into scoring position. Now, this is going to be the true test right here, Danny. No excuses for Reyes.
Yep.
2 outs, a singles hitter at the plate, and Paul LaDuca. You have got to dare and get into scoring position here.
And you got to go early in the count, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Reyes has been snake bitten a little bit just because he knows what Molina did to him during the regular season. Carpenter holds runners well, but this is a situation that begs for Reyes to try to steal a base.
The major league leader in steals during the season with 64. Not going, and the Carpenter pitch is in for a strike, 0-1. And Carpenter never even gave Reyes a thought. Didn't step off, didn't sneak a peek, didn't throw over. It's as if the Cardinals know that Reyes is not being very aggressive right now.
Yeah, and Paul LaDuca just kind of shaking his head because he's the designated GOAT. He may have to take 2 strikes unless Reyes runs.
Carpenter out in front 0-1 on Paul LaDuca. The big right-hander sets. The runner not going, and the pitch to LaDuca swung on and missed. 0-2. And, the Mets have talked about how the opportunities have not been there, but I agree with you. This is a golden opportunity, and a Tim Raines, a Vince Coleman, a Ricky Henderson, they would have gone already.
You got that right.
The inning might be over, but they would have gone already. Instead, 0-2 on LaDuca. Pretty good lead by Reyes. Pujols playing off the bag between the runner and the base, and now time is called. Carpenter is trying to mess with Reyes' timing by varying his time in the set position.
Well, I've used it once before in this series, but an old quote by Lou Brock: you can't play this game scared. Nobody has ever conquered baseball. Worst case scenario, you get thrown out, and you got LaDuca leading off next inning.
1-0, the Mets on top, batting in the bottom of the third. The lead by Reyes not going, and the 0-2 comes in low. Sandy Alomar Sr. again going over to the base. I mean, anything he's saying to Reyes, Albert Pujols is listening to. They're all standing within 2 feet of each other, but he's got some message for Reyes. Carlos Beltran swinging a bat in the on-deck circle. Should the inning get to him? LaDuca waving the bat back and forth as Carpenter gets his sign. And he'll fire to first, diving back in fairly easily is Reyes. A run on 3 hits for the Mets, no runs on 2 hits for the Cardinals. The Mets must win tonight to force Game 7 tomorrow. If the Cardinals win, they are going to the World Series. Carpenter steps off and asks Molina now for a fresh set of signs. LaDuca maintains his spot in the batter's box as now Carpenter sets. Another throw to first, and this time they almost got him. That was pretty close.
Well, again, the raw numbers on Chris Carpenter, 3 years, 2004, 5, and 6. 19 runners have tried to steal, 4 successfully. So you don't always have to be a left-hander with a tricky move. Sometimes if you have great quickness to the plate and a quick move to first base, that'll serve you pretty well.
Yeah, Tiger fans will tell you about the combination of Justin Verlander and Pudge Rodriguez and how effective they are. The 1-2, and LaDuca takes inside now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. How do you run him now? Now you've got the count back to even.
Trust me, Reyes has the green light. Yep. He's just not running.
Pujols anchored to the bag, holding him on, at least for the moment. He's come off the bag and played a little bit off the line as Carpenter has delivered the pitch. Rolling it back up at third as LaDuca steps out.
If the Cardinals were to win this game, and unless there was an obvious hero, you would have to give strong consideration to Yadier Molina as the MVP of the series because he has just taken the Mets out of their game. And plus, he's fun to bat pretty well.
And there is no obvious candidate with some of the big thumpers not really driving in a lot of runs. The runner goes. The 2-2 outside. The throw down, and it skips off the glove of Belliard into center field. Belliard then tumbles right on top of Reyes, kind of pinning him down on second base as Edmonds came in and got the ball back into the infield. I don't think any kind of interference is going to be called. Reyes is now back on his feet. Belliard slowly gets to his feet. Reyes with a stolen base.
Well, Molina had a tough pitch to handle, and I thought maybe Belliard would hurt his knee and Reyes may have hurt his shoulder. But there was a pretty good collision down there. But the bottom line is Reyes finally stole the base, and he's down there for LaDuca right now.
The throw was on the shortstop side of the bag. It didn't bounce. Belliard just boxed it, but even if he catches it cleanly, Reyes beats the throw. So runner at second, 2 down, and a full count on LaDuca. A look back by Carpenter, and the pitch, a swing and a bouncer down to third, backhanded by Rowland. He'll throw it across the diamond to Pujols, and after all that, the inning is over. No runs, a base hit, and a man left. We're through 3 at Shea, and the Mets lead the Cardinals 1-0. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
AOL users, now you can keep your AOL email address for free. Bring it with you to Net Zero and save almost $200 a year. With AOL's recent decision to let you keep your email address for free, you can get your email from AOL and your internet access from Net Zero. Net Zero is only $9.95 a month. That's less than half the price of AOL. And Net Zero ranks higher in customer satisfaction. So why wouldn't you do it? Take 2 minutes now and download Net Zero. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
Please don't make me decorate this weekend.
Fine. No decorating this weekend.
Really?
Sure. Monday will be just fine.
Oh, man. I knew it.
It's the October Savings Event at Sherwin-Williams. This Thursday through Monday, save 25% on paints and stains and 15% on Duration Premium Coatings. Save an extra 10% on custom order wallpaper and get free shipping, too. Hurry. Sale ends Monday, October 23rd.
Ask Sherwin-Williams.
For locations, visit SherwinWilliams.com. Some exclusions apply.
This year, the government's going to give out over $350 billion to people like you who want to start a business, go back to school, or train for a new job. I'm Matthew Lesko, and I've written over 70 books on government programs. You've probably seen me all over the television shows, on talk shows. My new program shows you 15,000 government sources, where you can get like $100,000 to open up a coffee shop, $15,000 to write a book, or $30,000 to become a French chef, $9,000 to take a computer course, or $15,000 to finish college, get a GED, or a PhD. There's money to travel overseas, train your employees, or work on your invention. I've done all the work. You just have to make the call. Call toll-free 877-ASK-LESCO, and you'll get my book and 6-hour audio tape program for only 2 payments of $29.95 plus $7.50 postage and handling. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee. Call toll-free 877-ASK-LESCO or 1-877-275-5375.
With Dave Campbell, I'm Dan Schulman, and welcome back to Game 6 of the National League Championship Series here on ESPN Radio. The Mets, who need a win to force Game 7, lead the Cardinals 1-0 as we go to the top of the fourth. The only run of the game scoring on a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first by Jose Reyes. Scott Rowland, Ronnie Belliard, and Yadier Molina will come up this inning against John Maine. Maine, through 3 innings, has given up a couple of hits. He's walked 2, one intentionally. He's hit a batter, but the Cardinals have left 5 men on through the first 3 innings. The first pitch to Rowland is swung on and popped out of play on the right side, 0-1.
Now, Scott's in a position right now, Danny, I think unless he gets a hanging breaking ball or a fastball down, he's just going to have trouble getting there. He's trying, but that left shoulder where you really pop at that ball, it doesn't have any strength in it right now.
Here's the 0-1 from Maine, and a swing and a high fly ball to right center field, but not deep. Beltran is over, and he'll make the catch. Rowland retired for out number 1. Well, you know that Tony La Russa still feels that Rowland is not 100%, or he'd have him batting ahead of Encarnacion, but he's got Encarnacion 5th and Rowland 6th.
But, as we've seen with the solid defense and the brilliance of Rowland on defense with a guy like Carpenter, you've got to have him in the lineup.
Ronnie Belliard gets a little extra booing as he comes up, swings and misses at a first pitch slider. The booing for his smothering of Jose Reyes, intentional or not, when he tumbled on top of him after the stolen base last half inning. Belliard hit a fly ball to left field his first time up. Takes a pitch low now, and it's 1-1.
Well, John Maine came into this inning 61 pitches through 3, so he's kind of on a pace, 5 innings, unless he can make short work of the Cardinals here.
1-1, a swing and a miss on a slider off the outside corner, 1-2. And Belliard had a great series in the first round of the playoffs, and he's had some pretty good offensive years. But when he looks bad, he looks really bad. He's up there swinging from the heels at sliders down and away, not trying to take the ball the other way at all. The 1-2 and a fastball's up and in.
Now, meanwhile, John Maine has really settled in nicely, and he is pitching with a lot more confidence in this ball game.
A total of 8 1/3 in his first 2 starts. The 2-2 and a fastball is over the outside corner for strike 3. 4th strikeout for Maine.
Well, right now, for the Mets, he's their main man because he is on a roll.
2 outs, nobody on. Yadier Molina, the batter, he grounded out to first. His first time up tonight. A 1-0 lead for the Mets. We're in the top of the 4th here at packed Shea Stadium. The pitch from Maine, and a fastball is fouled back.
Well, the old National League, get that 8th place hitter on so you can get Carpenter, not a real great hitter, out of the way and start with Eckstein next inning. So this becomes a little game within a game right here. Molina had a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
Maine working very quickly here between pitches as he misses high, 1-1. Just from our vantage point, it looks like he catches the return feed from LaDuca. LaDuca puts the sign down, and Maine is ready to go. He just got off the mound for a moment to kind of rub up the baseball a little bit, but now quickly he's back in his spot, and here comes the 1-1, and he misses down and away, ball 2.
Yeah, in those 2 previous games after the first inning when he would start to wilt a little bit, I mean, it was like agonizing watching him in between pitches. Now he backs off the mound and rubs up another baseball, but still, pretty much he's been getting it and firing it.
2 outs, nobody on. The Cardinals batting in the top of the 4th. And the 2-1, an off-speed pitch down and away, ball 3, as LaDuca tried to tug it back into the strike zone, but Gary Darling felt it was low. 3-1 on Molina with Carpenter on deck. The pitch, and a fastball is outside, ball 4. He walked the number 8 hitter, allowing the Cardinals, at the very least, to get a Carpenter spot out of the way.
Well, that happened in game number 5 when the Mets, Andy Chavez got on base, and that allowed the pitcher to come to the plate in their game and allowed Reyes to lead off in the 5th inning in game number 5. We'll see what kind of an effect that has if Eckstein leads off the 5th for the Cardinals.
Pitch to Carpenter, a swing and a sharply hit ball, but right at the second baseman of Valentine, who plays the short hop, flips it to first. Carpenter retired, and the inning is over. On to the bottom of the 4th here at Shea. Beltran, Delgado, and Wright coming up for the Mets, who already lead 1-0. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Back in the Old West, a man was judged based on his speed and accuracy.
Only 4 out of 268.
No, you got me. This is a story of a guy named Charlie Palillo.
48 teams did it since they last did.
Let's get out of here. Statistics, facts, heck, some even say he knew blood types.
Howdy, ma'am.
Sheriff?
Yep, that's Charlie Palillo. And legend has it, his voice can still be heard weekdays at 3 on 790. The sports animal.
Ah, you think you know true technique of Palillo-style fighting?
Yes, the Palillo energy now gives me strength to outlast those who consider themselves great men of sports knowledge.
Ah, then let's see if you have learned of what you speak. Well done, you have learned well.
Yes, the sports animal and Charlie Palillo give me strength, knowledge, and special wisdom when I place bets.
Oh, but betting is against our ways. Oh.
And so is wearing depends, old man.
Travelocity presents the Gigantanormous Sale.
Holiday, here I come.
Save $100 instantly on your vacation.
Smashing.
Plus, get $200 off your next one.
Cha-ching, bada bing.
Hurry, save up to $300.
300 buckaroos? That's mucha moolah.
Book now. Sale ends November 16th. Restrictions apply. For details and other great deals, visit Travelocity.com. Travelocity. You'll never roam alone.
Right. This is 790 The Sports Animal. Right.
When it comes to good health, an annual checkup is just what the doctor ordered. So why should your financial health be any different?
They are.
Remember to examine your savings plan.
By yourself? By myself.
Keeping your finger on the pulse of a healthy financial future. And it all starts with your Social Security statement, which you automatically receive each year before your birthday. Staying financially fit is not only smart.
It can be done.
It's easy.
It can be done.
And a lot less painful than you think. Choose to save.
This kind of thing must be done.
Campbell with you on ESPN Radio. The Mets lead Game 6 of the NLCS 1-0. And they've got the heart of the order coming up this inning against Chris Carpenter, Carlos Beltran, Carlos Delgado, and David Wright, all of whom were retired by Carpenter with their first at-bats tonight. Beltran retired on a ground ball to first.
Well, for whatever reason, Carlos Beltran and Carlos Delgado hit about 80 points lower at home this year than they did on the road.
Carpenter's first pitch, a curveball high, ball 1, and Carpenter still not many curveballs tonight and still not really able to throw it for a strike.
Nope, I don't think he's throwing one for a strike tonight.
The 1-0, he comes right back with it, and there's a strike, and a good job by Molina to double up on the curveball. And now maybe that'll get Carpenter into a groove with his curve. The 1-1, a fastball in under the hands of Beltran, ball 2.
Well, the first time through, he was, without a doubt, establishing the fastball. Let's see if he changes his pattern once he gets to the big boys in the lineup here.
2-1 the count as Beltran waves the bat back and forth. And the pitch from Carpenter, a fastball over the outside corner, 2-2. And one of the things that makes Carpenter so tough is he'll throw a four-seam fastball, the straight one. He'll throw a two-seamer, which will break a little down and away from the lefties, and he'll throw a cutter, which will break in under the hands of the lefties. The 2-2 and a swing and a ground ball in the hole. It's short and through into left field, a base hit. really, with the defense straight away, that's a ground ball to short, but Eckstein playing up the middle, and that allowed that ball to get through.
Well, just a good job by Beltran. Carpenter doubled up in the same spot. I'm sure he's probably rethinking things as he had Beltran maybe looking away and probably thinks maybe he should have tried to pound a four-seamer in, but hindsight being the only perfect science, now he's got to worry about the speedy Beltran at first base and a dangerous hitter at the plate in Delgado.
And again, Delgado hit a couple of home runs off Carpenter in Game 2 of this series. Hit a fly ball to left field in his first at-bat tonight. 4 for 7 with the 2 homers lifetime against Carpenter. Beltran stole 18 bases during the season. Carpenter sets and deals, and Delgado fouls a fastball off down the third baseline. Just past his third base coach, Manny Acta, who the Mets are now trumpeting a little bit for managerial jobs, and he's got some interviews.
Yeah, I think, Omar Minaya would like his guys to get interviews. Acta will have some. The only thing that Omar Minaya asked, please make it on an off day or a travel day that you interview him.
0-1 the count on Delgado with David Wright on deck. The Mets up 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth. And the pitch, a fastball up and away.
This is kind of one of the fun things about baseball. 2 former teammates, 2 guys that have enormous respect for each other, going head-to-head with a lot of things on the line.
Teammates for 6 years in Toronto from 97 through 2002. Carpenter just came up in 97. Delgado's a little bit older. The 1-1 and a fastball is drilled straight away center field and deep. Edmonds back and he'll make the catch. Beltran went almost all the way to second and now jogs back to first.
Well, Jimmy Edmonds got a tremendous jump on that ball. Good read, good first step, and then it became pretty academic. But, you think, somewhere along the line of just playing games in your mind, Delgado, when he was watching Carpenter hit or pitch, would think, if I were facing him, this is how I'd attack him. And Carpenter probably used to sit on the bench going, if I ever face Delgado, this is how I'm going to attack him.
And they probably looked at each other back in those days and said, oh, well, it's a good thing we don't have to do that because I wouldn't want to take my chances with you. But now they are. And so far, Delgado's held the upper hand, although Carpenter just got a big out. Now David Wright, who grounded out to third, back in the second inning. Runner at first, 1 out of the pitch from Carpenter is down and away.
Now let's see if Willie Randolph might think about hit and run. Now David Wright is not a guy that you hit and run a lot with. He certainly can make contact and spray the ball around, but Willie knows he's a little frustrated. He might try to open up an additional hole for him by starting the runner and making an infielder cover.
Pujols is holding on Beltran. Carpenter sets. The runner is not going, and the 1-0 is swung on and lined softly into center. A base hit in front of Edmonds. Up to second goes Beltran. First and second, 1 out for the Mets.
Well, the heart of that Met order hitting the ball pretty hard off Carpenter here in this inning. And, they had that great game number 4. They went 6 for 11 with 4 homers and 8 RBIs, but otherwise, that threesome, 7 for 40 with 2 homers when they have not, when it was not game 4 in the middle of that lineup.
2 on with a 1 out for the Mets, and here's Sean Green, who lined a base hit into right his first time up. A look back by Carpenter, and the pitch, a swing, and a base hit past a diving Eckstein into left center. Rounding third and heading home is Beltran. Back to second goes Wright, an RBI single by Green. 2-0 for the New York Mets here in the bottom of the fourth. After that RBI single by Green.
Well, Sean Green, coming into this series against his former teammate up in Toronto, Carpenter, had an 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts, but he's 2 for 2 against him tonight, and that one a damaging blow. And right now, we talked about the Cardinals getting some breaks in game number 5 about hitting them where they ain't. Right now, the Mets are doing the same thing, just out of the reach of Eckstein on a couple of hits here.
Yeah, Eckstein playing more up the middle against Beltran and Green, and they've both hit the ball right where Eckstein would normally be playing. Now Jose Valentine, the batter, and he clubs the ball well foul down the right side into the third deck. The Mets are up 2-0, out hitting the Cardinals 6-2, and they've got runners at first and second still with only 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Valentine grounded into an inning-ending double play his first time up. Carpenter sets. Checks the runner. And the pitch a little bit inside, 1-1. If there is a Game 7 tomorrow night, Jeff Suppan, who was brilliant in Game 3, will start for the Cardinals. The Mets have not announced their starter. Likely either Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez. We'll have the broadcast for you at 7:35 Eastern tomorrow if Game 7 is necessary.
Well, it appears the game plan of the Met hitters, the left-handed hitters tonight, is take the inside fastball, even if he gets the inside corner, and try to take the sinker the other way.
The pitch to Valentine and a swing and a pop-up. Shallow left field. Spezio is coming in, and he'll make the catch for the second out. And this gives us now a chance to give you an amazing stat that Elias has provided us with, including one out in this kind of a situation tonight. Cardinal pitchers have not allowed a hit during the postseason with men in scoring position and 2 outs in an inning. The opposition is a ludicrous 0 for 32 against Cardinal pitching in 2-out runner in scoring position kind of situations.
Yeah, and that eclipses the old record held by the 1998 New York Yankees that held the opposition 0 for 27.
Andy Chavez, the batter, and he'll take a strike inside corner. So those back-breaking hits, the 2-out hits that add runs, the Cardinals have not given up any of them. Not a one so far in the postseason. Chavez had a bunt single his first time up. A look back by Carpenter in the pitch, up and in, a ball and a strike.
Then I think the other back-breaking hits, and I mean, you'd have to look at a box score all the way through, but, you know, each side in each game has had their share of lucky hits. That's what I call them. Ground ball, seeing eye hits and bloops in the right place. And I think it's just about even. I mean, it's going the Mets' way tonight, but it definitely went the Cardinals' way in game number 5.
The 1-1, a swing and a bouncing ball to second. Belliard flips to Eckstein, covering to force Green and end the inning. But Green's single drives in Delgado. And through 4 with Kevin Winter on deck with the Sports Center in game. It's the Mets 2 and the Cardinals nothing. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone, continues after these messages from your local station.
Hey friends, it's Tom.
Introducing Orbitz.com's latest innovative travel service, Orbitz TLC Mobile Access. Now you have the power of Orbitz in the palm of your hand. Our customers agree.
I got flight status in my hand.
I got hotel availability
In my hand.
I got my travel itinerary
In my hand. I got Orbitz TLC in my hand.
Anyone can use Orbitz TLC Mobile Access. Just enter mobile.orbitz.com and go.
Hotel availability in select markets.
There is a breast cancer you need to know about, because the chances are your doctor doesn't know about it. It is inflammatory breast cancer and doesn't reveal itself on a mammogram, sonogram, or with a lump, and is most often misdiagnosed as mastitis. Find out more about this aggressive deadly disease on ibchealth.org and help find a cure with a donation of any size to the Susan Santamaw Carson Research Fund at MD Anderson Cancer Center, Houston.
School is in session. This is 790.
You are going to listen.
The Sports Animal.
I'm Kevin Winter with the Sports Center in-game, brought to you by the National Association of Realtors. News from the NFL today. 31-year-old Giants running back Tiki Barber is contemplating retirement after this season, which is his 10th in the league. He has been named to a pair of Pro Bowls each of the last 2 years. Chicago Bears safety Chris Brown out indefinitely. Had surgery this morning to repair a damaged ligament in his right foot. And a report on a website earlier today claimed that 7 NFL stadiums would be hit with dirty bombs this weekend. However, the Department of Homeland Security and the NFL do not believe these threats are credible. The NFL is saying its stadiums are very well protected through comprehensive security procedures that they have in place, including secure facility perimeters, pat-downs, and bag searches. Game 6 of the NLCS has the Mets leading the Cardinals 2-0 as we head to the top of the 5th. Here's Dan and Dave.
Kevin, thank you very much. A leadoff home run in the bottom of the 1st from Jose Reyes, an RBI single in the bottom of the 4th from Sean Green. The Mets doing more damage against Chris Carpenter than the Cardinals have been able to do against John Maine so far tonight, although Maine has walked 3, one of them intentionally. He's also hit a batter. He's only given up 2 hits tonight, and both of those hits came way back in the 1st inning to 2 of the first 3 batters he faced. So Maine, when he has been in the strike zone, has been very effective. Top of the order for the Cardinals here in the 5th, Eckstein, Spezio, and Pujols. Eckstein grounded out in the 1st, walked, stole a base, and got as far as 3rd in the 3rd. Right in on the grass. Delgado even with the bag at first. And the pitch to Eckstein is in for a strike.
And our friends at Elias also gave us one more number that when a team comes into the...
Here's the 0-1. It's down and away.
Into the stadium with the home field advantage, and if they're up 3-2 since 1973, it's happened 25 times. The team that's ahead 3-2 has won 13 and lost 12 series.
The 1-1 grounded back to the mound. It hits Maine, bounces behind him. He picks it up right on top of the mound and throws Eckstein out. Some pretty good poise and agility there by John Maine.
Well, not real pretty, but the bottom line says 1-3 on my score sheet, and again, things are kind of bouncing right for the Mets. That one could have trickled into the middle of the infield and been an infield hit for David Eckstein, but instead it caromed and bounced right back up to John Maine.
So to get back to the point you were making with your number, the last 30, 35 years, teams that head into the other stadium up 3-2 are basically about a 50-50 proposition whether or not they're going to win that series. That's what history tells us anyway. Scott Spezio, the batter, and he'll look at a strike. You figure the Cardinals might be a little bit better than that coming into tonight because they've got Carpenter and Suppan. Whereas the Mets have Maine and who knows who. The 0-1 down and away, but so far tonight, John Maine is out pitching Chris Carpenter, or at least he's leading on the scoreboard, and now there is activity in the Met bullpen. And that is the 1-1, and it's high, ball 2, and it's the unmistakable delivery of Chad Bradford.
Well, they must be getting ready for Mr. Albert. Prince Albert, who is standing on deck.
The 2-1 to Spezio. And a swing and a ball popped in the air to very shallow left center. Reyes, the shortstop, is backpedaling and makes the catch. Spezio retired 2 down. Bradford continues to throw. Pujols comes to the plate. Maine's pitching really well right now.
Yeah, I mean, Willie Randolph cannot come out and jerk him here. I mean, this kid is, you got to give him, I don't care if it's a playoff game and you don't care about individual stats, but with a 2-run lead, I mean, if Albert hits one, so what? He could hit one off Bradford, too. This guy's throwing the ball pretty darn well right now.
Pujols has singled and have been intentionally walked tonight. And the pitch is a fastball away for ball 1. Maine has thrown 82 pitches through 4 2/3. He is due to lead off the bottom half of the 5th. The 1-0, and Pujols takes a strike, and then he's 1-1, and he's shaking his head. He said to Gary Darling, that pitch was low.
Yeah, back in an earlier meeting this season, Albert Pujols against John Maine hit 2 home runs and drove in 7 runs.
1-1, a swing and a miss, and a slider down and away, 1-2. Boy, and Maine's body language has been great tonight. Catch the ball, look in for the sign, and right back into the windup, even with Pujols. The 1-2, and a high fastball is fouled straight back.
A good thing he threw that 1-2 instead of 2-1, because if Albert were gearing up for that one, it would be a 2-1 ball game. But he slipped that one by him. Maine kind of slips the ball out of his shirt a little bit, a la right-handed Sid Fernandez. And, the hitters are not picking the ball up when it's up in the zone.
Here's the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss and a slider. Pujols strikes out, and the inning is over. A standing ovation for John Maine. 5 shutout innings and a 2-0 lead for the Mets going to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Whether it's a double scoop of chocolate ice cream or a second hug from your little niece, 2 really is better than 1. That's why Econo Lodge and Roadway Inn Hotels are offering double stamps this fall with the Easy Choice Rewards program. That means free night in half the time. So take a trip or 2. Call 800-4CHOICE or visit choicehotels.com for the best internet rate guaranteed. We'll see you there.
Earn 2 stamps per night for qualifying stays between 9/1 and 11/30/06. Maximum 10 stamps per stay. For details, visit choicehotels.com.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Keep your car running right and save money today. Get to AutoZone now and change your oil and filter every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Now, for a limited time at AutoZone, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX motor oil and a Bosch oil filter for only $12.99. That's right, just $12.99. See store for details. Don't send your engine to an early grave. Get to AutoZone. Change your oil and get more life out of your car.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The
Joneses like things fast. They use Zantac. It's fast, like last night after dinner.
Heartburn? Painful. Zantac.
Thank you. And then later.
Better? Completely. Zantac's fast.
The Joneses know Zantac quickly relieves the toughest heartburn. And more, like before the Joneses family barbecue.
Ribs?
Heartburn.
Zantac.
First?
Prevents.
Amazing.
Zantac's fast.
Zantac before a meal prevents heartburn. Zantac after a meal quickly stops heartburn. Maximum strength Zantac. It's
fast.
Use as directed. Controls heartburn in 30 to 60 minutes.
Want to get to the next level of your career? Earn a bachelor's or master's degree at University of Phoenix. It's education designed for busy working adults. In most cases, you can earn your degree in 2 to 3 years. At over 170 campuses, they offer programs in business, technology, nursing, education, and more. Call University of Phoenix at 1-800-853-4433. Offer not valid in Tennessee. Programs vary by campus. That's 1-800-853-4433.
Bottom of the fifth at Shea, and the man of the moment is on his way to the plate, John Maine, who has thrown 5 shutout innings. It's 2-0 Mets. Game 6 of the NLCS. Stan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you on ESPN Radio. Maine just had a great 5th inning. David Eckstein grounding out back to the mound. Scott Spezio popped up, and then he struck out Albert Pujols. Maybe the loudest the crowd has been here tonight, with a possible exception of the Reyes home run back in the first. The first pitch from Chris Carpenter, a fastball right down the middle, a strike to Maine. Maine was not such a happy guy back in the third when he unsuccessfully tried to get a bunt down and wound up striking out. The 0-1, a swing and a fly ball down the right field line, but this will be out of play, 0-2.
Here's a little piece of useless trivia. Over 17,000 players in the history of the major leagues, and this is the first guy that's ever had the same last name as a state in the United States.
Where'd you get that one from? That's a lot of research.
Yeah.
The 0-2 just outside, 1-2. That's a good one.
M-A-I-N-E, folks.
Yep.
Corona, the home of the Black Bears. Up there. And Maine.
The 1-2 from Carpenter, a curveball for strike 3, and Maine strikes out for the second time tonight. Maine is accounts for the only 2 strikeouts that Carpenter has tonight.
Or is it Orano?
I don't know where it is.
It's in Maine. O-R-O-N-O. That's where the University of Maine is.
Here's Jose Reyes, who homered to lead off the bottom of the first, and then bounced into a fielder's choice and stole the base in the third.
I know that because I saw it in the crossword.
The pitch. He runs up as if to bunt, pulls the bat back, and he takes a strike. Eddie Chavez has a bunt single tonight for the Mets. The 0-1 from Carpenter, and a swing and a liner into left field, a base hit. Reyes racing around first as Spezio hustles in. Reyes really putting the pressure on Spezio to field that ball cleanly. He's aboard with a 1-out single. He can fly.
Yep, and he's playing with a little more confidence now. He already stole that one base, so here we go again. Man out, he's on base. It's a chance for him to run, and maybe now that he's stolen one successfully, he may not wait until the flowers come up to do it.
Paul LeDuc is going to be the batter. He's flied out and grounded out. A 2-0 lead for the Mets, out hitting the Cardinals 7-2. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Cardinals have left 6 men on, the Mets 3. Carpenter gets his sign from Molina. Reyes the lead. And a throw to first. And Reyes kind of crawling back in. He came up a little short of the bag and wound up having just to reach out on his knees with his right hand to grab a hold of the base. Beltran loosening up in the on-deck circle for the Mets. Carpenter sets. Runner not going, and the pitch to LaDuca. A little chopper up the middle of the diamond, and Belliard cuts in front of Eckstein, and then it makes an off-balance throw to first base to get him. The runner is at second now with 1 out, but Belliard, I think, with 2 outs, I should say, I think Belliard made a tougher play than Eckstein was going to have.
Yeah, to describe that play, Belliard, unbelievable play, and then Albert Pujols has a pick in between hops, and he comes up with a great play, and wow.
But Eckstein was standing with his foot on second base, waiting for that ball. it would have come to him. They would have gotten the out at second. He would have thrown to first for the double play instead of Belliard, whose momentum is going the wrong way, cut in front of him. Carlos Beltran, the batter, and he'll take a strike. And you've talked about it. When you give a team like the Mets extra outs, inevitably it'll come back to haunt you.
Well, especially when that extra out is a guy that hit 41 home runs this year and a guy hitting 38s on deck.
A look back by Carpenter. And the 0-1, a wild swing and a miss at a curveball. 0-2 on a Beltran. The ball scooted away from Molina. Reyes thought about it, but then retreats to second.
Yeah, that was, David Eckstein was standing in the end zone waiting for the touchdown pass, and Belliard came in and intercepted. Not a good play.
Very strange. He made a great play to get the out, but he shouldn't have touched the ball in the first place. The 0-2 and Beltran hits a chopper to short, charged by Eckstein. He unloads to first in time to get him, and the inning is over. No runs, a base hit, and a man left. We are through 5 now at Shea, and it remains the Mets 2 and the Cardinals nothing. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Fox Sports 790.
Life is full of choices, but when it comes to antifreeze, the choice is easy. Choose Prestone in the yellow jug for the patented protection of the #1 brand. Mix it with any color antifreeze or flush and fill to get advanced cooling system protection. Prestone is good for any make or model car you drive. Only the leader in antifreeze can make it so simple to give your car the defense it deserves. It's one less decision to make. Prestone Protection. Easy to choose, easy to use.
Okay. The question before the court is this. Who exactly eliminated the middleman? All right, we'll come clean. Geico is guilty as charged. Yes, we did away with him, and we do it again. After all, when Geico gives you the same great service as the other guys and could save you hundreds on your car insurance, getting rid of the middleman isn't really a crime. It's more of a public service.
Go to geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
I'm going to say 8 words you won't believe. Buying a used car should not be painful. Here's 4 words that prove it. Honda certified used cars. They're well-maintained, late-model Hondas. Each undergoes a 150-point inspection, then backed by one of the best warranties in the business. Plus, now you can get APR financing as low as 2.9% on all certified used Honda Odyssey and Pilot models. Made you a believer, didn't I? Honda certified used cars. They're the next best thing to new.
See dealer for financing and limited warranty details.
My friends laughed at me when I said I could order in French, but when the waiter came, I just smiled and said, Je voudrais le poulet et le riz.
Discover the world's fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. It's the amazing Rosetta Stone software, and you can try it free. Request a free demo CD-ROM by calling 1-800-336-1989. There's no tedious translation, useless memorization, or boring drills. Call 1-800-336-1989. 1-800-336-1989.
Top of the 6th inning here at Shea Stadium. Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you on ESPN Radio. Game 6 of the National League Championship Series, and the Mets lead 2-0. John Maine, 5 shutout innings. He's given up only 2 hits. He's got 5 strikeouts, including a strikeout of Albert Pujols to end the 5th. He'll face Jim Edmonds, Juan Encarnacion, and Scott Rowland, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Cardinals here in the 6th inning. Chad Bradford is up for the second time tonight in the pen for the Mets. Edmonds has struck out and flied out. And the first pitch of the inning is outside, ball 1. David Wright maybe a step behind the bag at third. The rest of the infielders deep, outfielders straight away. Maine continues to work quickly. And the 1-0, a swing at a pop-up left side, and this will drift back into the seats, 1-1.
Well, Edmonds, one of several Cardinals, nicked up, playing, supposedly getting a shot of lidocaine in his foot every night to kind of dull the pain. It's an injury that they don't think can worsen, but it's just causing him a lot of aggravation right now.
The 1-1, and it's outside. And I think you bring up a good point. As so much has been made of Pedro Martinez and El Duque, and rightly so, and Cliff Floyd being out. But the Cardinals are without Mark Mulder and Jason Isringhausen, and 4 of their 8 position players are playing hurt. 2-1 down and in ball 3. Edmonds, Pujols, Eckstein, and Rowland. Now, everybody's got something, but I mean, those four guys they've got some fairly serious injuries they're playing through.
Well, the Tigers wouldn't admit it, but they're probably salivating.
Yep. The 3-1, and Edmonds takes a little bit low, ball 4. And the leadoff man is aboard here in the 6th inning.
And especially when you have somebody at the helm like Jim Leland who respects everybody, he will be in their faces saying, maybe the National League was a down year this year, but he can remind them about the 1954 New York Giants who played the Cleveland Indians and won 111 games, and the Giants wiped them out in 4. So there's no gimmies in the World Series.
The batter is Juan Encarnacion, hit by a pitch, and he struck out. Maine's pitch, Encarnacion takes a strike. Checked the swing, but he took a strike, and it's 0-1.
A little bit of a bad vibe for Willie Randolph, walking the leadoff hitter in the 6th. He still has Bradford going in the bullpen.
Maine's at 92 pitches. The 0-1 way outside with a slider, 1 ball and 1 strike.
1906, that's a long time ago, but the Chicago Cubs won 116 games that year, and the hitless wonders, the Chicago White Sox, knocked them off 4 games to 2. So there's been plenty of upsets in the World Series.
1-1, taken low. Would 1988 and 1990 both apply?
Oh, gosh, 1988, the Dodgers, and, against the Oakland team. And Tony La Russa's A's won the Earthquake Series in 89, and then the Reds came along in 1990. A lot of people didn't think they had a chance, and they swept them.
The 2-1, a big swing and a foul back by Encarnacion, 2-2.
I think, the Marlins in 2003 against the vaunted Yankees. I think a lot of people were surprised with that outcome.
Manny and Shea getting back on their feet again as Maine gets to another 2-strike count. In this case, 2-2 on Encarnacion. 2-0 the Mets lead. We're in the top of the 6th. And the pitch is swinging a foul back again as Encarnacion is just about coming out of his shoes on these swings. On deck is Scott Rowland. Out in center, Beltran playing Encarnacion a bit over toward right center. Middle infielders a double play depth as Pujols holds on Edmonds. As Delgado holds on Edmonds. The 2-2, a swing and another foul back by Encarnacion.
And one of my favorites, the 1960 Pittsburgh Pirates. Everybody remembers Bill Mazeroski hit the homer. In the 3 games the Yankees won, they outscored the Pirates 39-3, but they lost the World Series.
Maine comes set. And again, the 2-2, and a swing and a fly ball to very shallow left field. Racing in Chavez, and he'll make the catch. Back to first is Edmonds. And yes, the Mets definitely lose some power with Cliff Floyd out, but they gain some things with Andy Chavez in the lineup.
Right now, the Cardinals don't really have anybody swinging what you would consider a hot bat, and that kind of plays into the Mets' hand right now, whereas the Mets, if you make a mistake on them, they've got a lot of hitters that can do big damage, and I think Willie Randolph's going to make a change now, although we'll see. Looks like he's going to, and you can bet Maine's going to get a heck of an ovation if he comes out.
Randolph still has not made the signal, I don't believe, as he now gets up on the mound. All of the infielders going and patting John Maine on the back. Randolph takes the baseball, and the rookie John Maine will lead to thunderous applause here at Shea Stadium. 5 1/3 shutout innings. He leaves the man on. He leaves with a 2-0 lead, kind of humbly, almost shyly waving to the crowd as he disappears down into the first base dugout. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Top of the 6th there at Shea, the Mets 2 and the Cardinals nothing. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
We are 790, the sports animal. Joneses like things fast. They use Zantac. It's fast, like last night after dinner.
Heartburn? Painful. Zantac.
Thank you. And then later.
Better? Completely. Zantac's fast.
The Joneses know Zantac quickly relieves the toughest heartburn. And more, like before the Joneses family barbecue.
Ribs?
Heartburn.
Zantac.
Curse?
Prevents.
Amazing.
Zantac's fast.
Zantac before a meal prevents heartburn. Zantac after a meal quickly stops heartburn. Maximum strength Zantac. It's
fast.
Use as directed. Controls heartburn in 30 to 60 minutes.
I am Dr. Jen, and I'm taking your Love Life calls. And here's Kevin. Go ahead.
Jen, what's the easiest way to get to 79 Williams Ave?
Follow your heart?
For the easiest route to any address, you want to ask TomTom, not Jen.
Turn left.
TomTom Go is your portable, everyday GPS solution. Grab it and go. Just tap the screen and a helpful voice guides you on your way.
You have reached your destination.
TomTom Go. Find your way the easy way. Learn more at TomTom.com.
Kevin Winter with you in our Baseball Tonight studios. Pitching change at Shea. In the meantime, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
KDME Houston, live from the Budweiser Studios. This is 790. The Sports Animal. And 790thesportsanimal.com.
Mets lead the Cardinals by a count of 2-0. If there's a Game 7, it'll be right here on ESPN Radio tomorrow night at 7:35 Eastern Time. If the Cardinals rally, Game 1 of the World Series in Detroit Saturday night. John Maine, 5 1/3 outstanding innings in New York. Let's go back to Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell. Find out the pitching change for the Mets.
Kevin the Submariner, the right-hander Chad Bradford, comes on for the 4th time in the NLCS. 3 previous scoreless appearances covering 3 1/3, and he struck out Scott Rowland last night. Jim Edmonds is at first with 1 out. The Cardinals batting in the 6th, trailing 2-0, and now here's Rowland to face Bradford. Rowland 0 for 2 tonight on a couple of fly balls.
Good news for Rowland is Bradford is a low ball pitcher, so Scott, we mentioned, having trouble hitting high pitches because of the shoulder. But the bad news is if Bradford makes his good pitch, then it could be a double play ball.
Right, a couple of steps behind the bag at third. Delgado is holding on Edmonds. Bradford sets. And the pitch to Rowland. Low, ball 1. That pitch, because it's delivered from so low, and because it wound up low, it almost looked like it was skimming across the grass all the way between the mound and the plate. And now, even as Bradford begins facing his first batter, Guillermo Mota starts throwing in the bullpen for the Mets.
All hands on deck.
Yep. Must-win game for the New York Mets. All is quiet right now in the Cardinal pen. But Chris Carpenter's spot is 3 away right now. The 1-0, and Rowland takes inside, ball 2. And if the Cardinals rather have something going this inning and it gets to Carpenter's spot, you got to believe that Tony La Russa will have to pinch hit. A 2-0 lead for the Mets. A home run by Reyes in the first, an RBI single by Green in the 4th. The 2-0, and Rowland takes low, ball 3.
Well, Scott showing more discipline against Bradford than he did last night. Maybe that's the advantage of seeing a guy 2 nights in a row, but last night Rowland fouled the ball off and then chased a couple of sinkers down below his knees. He's trying to make Bradford bring the ball up, and he's ahead in the count 3-0.
Bradford sets. And the pitch in for a strike, 3-1, is left-hander Pedro Feliciano has now joined the right-hander Guillermo Mota in the bullpen for the Mets.
Well, that's just in case Tony springs one of his left-handed hitters, either Duncan or Rodriguez, and he'll have Feliciano ready.
Bradford straightens up with a sign from LaDuca. And he'll snap a throw to first, sidearm, and back in standing up is Edmonds.
Yep. Tony, let's see if he might start Edmonds. I mean, Rowland doesn't have to swing if it's ball 4. This is not a guy that really gets a lot of swings and misses, but he is a guy that throws double play balls.
Here's the pitch, and Rowland pulls one foul down the third baseline to count 3-2. He broke his bat, and that was that good sinker down and in that he struck Rowland out on last night.
Yep. The one pitch Scott had to hit was 3-0, but he was taking.
Now back to the plate with a new bat. Will they start Edmonds with a 3-2 count? Bradford turned and looked over to first as if to remind himself who the runner is. Now back on the rubber. Staring in toward LaDuca. Quickly gets the sign. He sets. Edmonds is running, and the 3-2 is grounded weakly to short. Reyes shovels to second in time for the out. Back to first, double play. Even with the runner going, the Mets turn the 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. On to the bottom of the 6th at Shea. 2-0 for the Mets. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The following is an OnStar conversation.
OnStar emergency, this is Candace.
Yes, ma'am. I just hit something in the interstate.
Are there any injuries?
Just me. I don't know if I broke my wrist or what.
If your airbags deploy, OnStar receives a signal and can call to check on you.
Emergency services.
This is Candace with OnStar Emergency. I have a vehicle crash with airbag deployment. It's located on Interstate 85.
Sir, what happened?
Something fell off a truck and I hit it. I really totaled my car. I didn't even see it coming.
Okay, we're sending emergency services.
The peace of mind OnStar offers is more affordable than you might think.
Sir, did you need me to remain on the line with you until they arrived?
No, I think I'm okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you have a better day.
The first year of OnStar service is included on new OnStar-equipped GM vehicles, and unlimited use of all safety and security services costs only $16.95 plus tax per month after that. To experience OnStar, press your blue button or visit OnStar.com. OnStar by GM.
My riding lawnmower ran out of gas on the road, and while I was getting more gas, an 18-wheeler hit it. Will my car insurance cover that?
That's a real question that was put to the licensed car insurance experts at Progressive Direct. When you call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, we'll answer your questions and help you find the policy that best fits you. So whether your question's unique or typical...
Will I get a discount if I insure both my cars with you?
In fact, she will. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Progressive Direct Insurance Company and its affiliates, Mayfield Village, Ohio, available in most states and situations.
Kevin Winter with you in our Baseball Tonight studios. Time now for Did You Know, brought to you by OnStar. OnStar Vehicle Diagnostics offering a new service that takes maintenance off your mind by emailing you monthly diagnostic reports. Sign up today at OnStar.com. Chris Carpenter has faced the same opponent in consecutive starts 25 times in his regular season career. He's 15-4 in the second game of those starts. He's 1-0 in the situations like that this postseason. Had a victory came against San Diego earlier this month. But tonight, Carpenter is on the short end of a 2-0 deficit as the Mets have the lead in Game 6. They try and stay alive in the NLCS. Let's go back to Shea. Here's Dan Schultman and Dave Campbell.
And Kevin, that double play that ended the sixth inning closed the books on John Maine. Soupy goes 5 1/3, shutout, 2 hits, walks 4, one of them intentional, strikes out 5, and he throws 98 pitches. Clearly the best of his 3 postseason starts.
Yeah, and boy, you talk about when the Mets needed it, and we said at the onset when Tommy Glavine had drawn rain before each of his 2 starts, the old axiom of spot and saint and pray for rain. It was rain and Tommy and rain and pray for Maine. So. Anyway, right now, those prayers came through for the Met fans.
Delgado right in green coming up in the bottom of the 6th against Chris Carpenter, who misses high with a breaking ball, ball 1. Probably Carpenter's last inning. He's due up 3rd in the 7th. Delgado's hit a fly ball to left and a fly ball to center tonight. A Met win, and there will be a Game 7 tomorrow night. The 1-0, and Delgado takes a pitch over the outside corner 1-1. He did not agree with Gary Darling's call. It was a changeup from Carpenter, a pitch he's thrown occasionally away to the left-handers tonight. Carpenter looking into Molina. Carpenter 6-6 as he rocks into the windup, but a curveball is swung on and popped up. Shallow left center, backpedaling his Eckstein, calls off the outfielders and makes the catch. 1 down, Delgado is 0 for 3.
Well, the Cardinals have finally been able to slow down Delgado a little bit the last 2 nights, and they've made a lot more quality pitches than they did early in the series.
Here's David Wright, who's grounded out and had a base hit. Now 3 for 19 in the series. Again, the Mets have not announced who their starter would be for tomorrow night should there be a Game 7. It's expected to be either Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez, who would be on short rest if he were to be named the starter. Carpenter to right, and a curveball is in for a strike. Jeff Suppan, who threw 8 shutout innings for the Cardinals in Game 3, is ready to go for St. Louis should there be a Game 7 tomorrow night. If the Cardinals win tonight, got to believe Suppan will start Game 1 of the World Series. The 0-1, another curve for a strike, 0-2 on David Wright.
By the way, last half inning, tremendous double play turned by the Mets. Jose Valentine kind of putting a foot in and getting it out of the way of the hard-charging Edmonds to turn it over.
The 0-2 to Wright, a fastball. Did he go on the appeal down to first? He did, says Tim Welke. Wright strikes out.
Well, Carpenter in a good groove now, but you got to believe, he's due to hit third in the top half of the seventh, and I think the only decision Tony would have is if there's 2 outs and nobody on, because otherwise, if you got somebody on base, you got to hit for him, and that's the thing about the National League. A guy can be having a heck of a night, but if he's out-pitched, he's going to have to give way to a pinch hitter.
Here's Sean Green, 2 for 2, and Carpenter's curveball misses low. Green with a base hit to right in the second, and then an RBI single to left center in the fourth, driving in the second run of the night for the Mets. The 1-0 pitch, another curve, and it's in for a strike. And all of a sudden, Carpenter can rely on that curve, and he's throwing a lot of them here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and his rhythm has really changed. This is the first time we've seen the old Chris Carpenter rhythm.
1-1, fastball up and away. Meaning working more quickly?
Yeah, but it's just hard to describe. I mean, you can see with his delivery and release point, both pitches, he's got the two-seam sinker working, he's got the curveball working, and he can still blow the high fastball. So that really makes it tough for Tony La Russa, because Carpenter's got great stuff right now, but he's probably going to have to give way to a pinch hitter.
The 2-1 to Green, in at the knees for a strike, 2-2. That was Carpenter's 75th pitch of the game, so a nice low pitch count with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Jose Valentine on deck should the inning continue. Green waiting. Carpenter begins his motion. And the 2-2 curveball, strike 3, called, and the inning is over. Carpenter is as sharp as he's been tonight, but is he done? He is due up third in the top of the 7th, and the Cardinals trail the Mets 2-0. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
AOL users, now you can keep your AOL email address for free. Bring it with you to Net Zero and save almost $200 a year. With AOL's recent decision to let you keep your email address for free, you can get your email from AOL and your internet access from Net Zero. Net Zero is only $9.95 a month. That's less than half the price of AOL. And Net Zero ranks higher in customer satisfaction. So why wouldn't you do it? Take 2 minutes now and download Net Zero. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
When I'm at the ballpark, I just can't resist the food. I mean, the peanuts, the popcorn, sometimes a slice of pizza, and you can't watch a game without a hot dog. That's just un-American. So I always pack my Pepsi Complete to relieve my ballpark heartburn, because Pepsi Complete starts to work in seconds. So the heartburn is out of here, and it lasts for a whole ball game. Even more perfect for a doubleheader. Hey, are you going to eat those nachos?
Brenda Coates is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell her story, we hired Mr. Bert Bacharach.
Last year, I was rear-ended by a Geico customer.
I was hit in the rear.
First thought in my mind was about that funny lizard.
Lizard licks his eyeball.
I was so impressed with how they handled my claim, I switched.
I hope I'll never get hit in the rear again.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
What if I told you I could make your acne disappear and leave you with beautiful, healthy-looking skin? With all the acne promises out there, you're skeptical. So I'm going to prove it to you by sending you a risk-free 60-day trial of a remarkable product called Proactive Solution. Proactive was developed by dermatologists for you to use at home without spending hundreds of dollars on doctor visits. To get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Solution, just call 1-800-550-2238. Call 1-800-550-2238 for your risk-free trial. 1-800-550-2238.
We go to the top of the 7th here at Shea Stadium in New York. Game 6 of the National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio. With Dave Campbell, I'm Dan Schulman. The Mets lead 2-0 in a game they have to win to force Game 7. Chad Bradford, who got a big double play ball to win the 6th, is back out to work the 7th. For the Cardinals, it'll be Ronnie Belliard, Yadier Molina, and then potentially Chris Carpenter. Carpenter is due up third. He's got a bat in his hands. He's got a batting helmet on. They're just getting something going out of the bullpen for St. Louis. Feliciano, the left-hander, and Moto, the right-hander, continue to throw in the pen for Willie Randolph. Belliard tonight has flied out and struck out. He's hitting 200, 4 for 20 in the NLCS. The pitch from Bradford, and Belliard taking all the way, looks at a strike.
Now, Tony would love to get the first 2 guys on and leave Carpenter in to bunt them up. But, that may be a stretch, or get this guy out and have Molina hit a home run, then Carpenter could stay too.
The 0-1 and a swing and a foul back. Braden Looper, the former Met, is now throwing in the Cardinal pen.
It really is a tough situation for Tony because Carpenter is throwing so well right now, but, hey, it's the National League, and you got to do what you got to do. We'll see what that decision is.
Bradford working on the mound a little bit, now settles onto the rubber as he looks in toward LaDuca. And the 0-2, a swing and a ground ball up the middle, and this will get through into center field, a base hit. The leadoff man is aboard for the Cardinals in the 7th, and the tying run will come to the plate in Yadier Molina.
Well, mission accomplished to start the inning for the Cardinals. Belliard, who's been in a bit of a slump, finds a hole. Bradford ball came right back over the middle of the diamond, but he couldn't flag it down. And again, Carpenter's fate probably hinging on what happens to this at-bat with Molina.
Well, Molina just looked down to Jose Oquendo, who flashed a long series of signs. What do you think the possibilities are here?
Well, I don't think you hit and run early in the count. I mean, I know you're down 2-0. Tony hates the specter of a double play, though.
Bradford sets, and the pitch to Molina, in for a strike.
I don't think Molina liked that call. Haven't been very many arguments with the umpires in this series. It has been an extremely well-umpired series from the get-go.
If Molina disagreed with it, it would be on the grounds that he felt it was low as he goes for a little walk down toward third and takes a look at Oquendo. 0-1 the count on the Cardinal catcher, who's grounded out and walked tonight. Hitting .353 in the series. The 0-1 just off the outside corner of the knees, a ball and a strike. That Bradford delivery, it's so unusual, it's so unique that the hitters aren't used to looking down there for the ball to come out of the pitcher's hand. Everything looks a little bit different to them, even though the pitch is only coming in maybe between 75 and 80 miles an hour. Runner goes, and the 1-1 grounded weakly and foul up the third baseline. 1-2.
Well, Mike Scioscia, we could say, would identify with this when he had the two older brothers, Jose Molina and Benji Molina. He hit and run no matter what the situation, because when they hit the ball on the ground at the fielder, it's a double play. The Molinas were blessed with a lot of things, but speed was not one of them.
Decisions looming for both managers depending on the outcome of this at-bat. 2-0 Mets. Belliard at first. Nobody out in the Cardinals 7. Then a 1-2 count on Molina. The pitch from Bradford and a swing and a foul off. The crowd didn't see that the ball went straight down. Kind of got hidden underneath LaDuca. But Molina got a piece of it, so he's still alive.
Well, 'tis often said the first 6 belong to the players, the last 3 to the managers in close games, and this one will be no exception.
Bradford rubbing up the fresh baseball off the back of the mound. A bouncing ball up the middle for Belliard for the leadoff hit here in the 7th. That's the first hit for the Cardinals, by the way, since the first inning. And just their 3rd hit of the night. Bradford has his sign. Throw to first, runner back. Carlos Beltran is down on one knee out in center field. Looks like he might be trying to dig something out of his cleats. He better get up soon. Now Beltran back to his feet out in center. Bradford back up on the rubber. Middle infielders a double play depth. They turned a nice double play to end the 6th inning. The 1-2 to Molina, and he swings and lifts a fly ball into shallow left center field. Beltran is there, and he'll make the catch, 1 out. Carpenter is heading toward the plate, but now he's going to be called back as Chris Duncan, who homered last night, is going to come out to pinch hit.
Yeah, remember, he hit the home run last night against Feliciano, who's warming up in the bullpen. So, Chris, though, you look at the numbers, he hit 170 against lefties this year, so which way is Willie going to go? Carpenter was trying to buy staying in the game. He didn't want to look back, but Tony yelled Chris, and he finally had to turn around and acknowledge his manager.
Willie Randolph and Rick Peterson looking at some notes and numbers and talking things over, and now here comes the Mets skipper. And with Chris Duncan coming up, Randolph's going to go to the right-hander, I believe. I don't think he brought in Feliciano. I believe that he signaled for Guillermo Mota. We will tell you about it when we come back. A little confusion. Both pitchers in the pen are unsure as to what's going on. We can tell you Bradford's coming out. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. In the top of the 7th, with the Mets leading the Cardinals 2-0, You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Life is full of choices, but when it comes to antifreeze, the choice is easy. Choose Prestone in the yellow jug for the patented protection of the #1 brand. Mix it with any color antifreeze or flush and fill to get advanced cooling system protection. Prestone is good for any make or model car you drive. Only the leader in antifreeze can make it so simple to give your car the defense it deserves. It's one less decision to make. Prestone Protection. Easy to choose, easy to use.
When I'm at the ballpark, I just can't resist the food. I mean, the peanuts, the popcorn, sometimes a slice of pizza, and you can't watch a game without a hot dog. That's just un-American. So I always pack my Pepsi Complete to relieve my ballpark heartburn, because Pepsi Complete starts to work in seconds. So the heartburn is out of here, and it lasts for a whole ball game. Even more perfect for a doubleheader. Hey, are you going to eat those nachos?
Kevin Winter with you at our Baseball Tonight studios. Time now for the results of the AutoZone poll question. We asked you to log on to ESPNRadio.com and vote for which player you thought would be the player of the game tonight. Game 6 of the NLCS. Poll question brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone, 37% of you said Chris Carpenter. Should be noted, John Maine was 4th on that list with 17%. Maine stands to pick up the victory. The Cardinals trail 2-0. They have a threat going with a runner aboard at least at the top of the 7th. Chris Duncan on the pinch hit. And there will not be a rematch of last night. Instead, he's going to face Guillermo Mota for the Mets. For more, here's Darren Shulman and Dave Campbell.
All right, Kevin, thank you. So Mota comes on, the right-hander with a very good changeup. This is his 5th appearance of the NLCS. 3 of the previous 4 were fine, but the one that wasn't was a crusher for the Mets, giving up the 2-run triple to Scott Spezio back in Game 2 when the Cardinals made that big comeback. That triple tied the game, and the Cardinals would go on to win it by scoring off Wagner in the 9th. So here's the situation. Belliard is at first. There's 1 out in the top of the 7th, a 2-0 lead for the Mets. And big Chris Duncan, loaded with power, left-handed hitter, who homered last night off Pedro Feliciano, comes up here with a chance to tie the game.
Good fastball hitter, susceptible to the change.
Mota sets. And the pitch to Duncan, up and away, ball 1. The leadoff hitter, David Eckstein, is on deck for the Cardinals. Duncan is pinch hitting for Chris Carpenter, so his night is done after 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs. But they're down 2-0, the Cardinals are, as Mota fires to first, and Belliard is back in standing up.
Well, it certainly doesn't appear to be a running situation here for Belliard, so Mota needs to focus in on number 16 in the batter's box.
1-0 the count on Duncan. 22 home runs during the regular season. The pitch, and a changeup is over the outside corner for a strike. 1-1.
Well, the first fastball was one of those, as we call them, Missouri fastballs. Show me a fastball, but I think he was going to try to get him out with the changeup.
Duncan, an imposing presence in the batter's box as he waits. Mota sets and deals, and a swing and a grounded foul up the third baseline, 1-2. Another change, I believe, away.
Yeah, that one could have been disastrous, so Chris stayed with that a little bit. If he'd gotten that about 5 feet over, it would have gone inside the line, and dust would have been stirring here at Shea.
1-2 now the count on Duncan. Belliard has made his way back to first. Mota goes to the rosin bag for a moment. Mota now staring in toward LaDuca. LaDuca slides way to the outside, and Mota fires to first. Belliard dives back in just ahead of the throw.
Now, this is a case where Ronnie Belliard cannot get picked off. He's got to be going absolutely nowhere in this situation. If you get picked off here, you might as well head into the Met dugout, because you aren't going to be welcomed in the Cardinal dugout.
Mota straightens up with a sign. The runner bluffs a start, and Duncan hits a one-hopper to second. Valentine to Reyes for 1. Back to first. Another double play. The second in as many innings turned by the Met infield. Through 6.5 here at Shea with the fans on their feet. It's the Mets 2 and the Cardinals nothing. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
This is 790, the sports animal.
They use Zantac. It's fast, like last night after dinner.
Heartburn? Painful. Zantac.
Thank you. And then later.
Better? Completely. Zantac's fast.
The Joneses know Zantac quickly relieves the toughest heartburn. And more, like before the Joneses family barbecue.
Ribs?
Heartburn.
Zantac.
First?
Prevents.
Amazing.
Zantac's fast.
Zantac before a meal prevents heartburn. Zantac after a meal quickly stops heartburn. Maximum strength Zantac. It's
fast.
Uses directed, controls heartburn in 30 to 60 minutes.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Keep your car running right and save money today. Get to AutoZone now and change your oil and filter every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Now, for a limited time at AutoZone, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX motor oil and a Bosch oil filter for only $12.99. That's right, just $12.99. See store for details. Don't send your engine to an early grade. Get to AutoZone. Change your oil and get more life out of your car.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The Office Depot 20th anniversary event, and we have great deals to celebrate. This week only, Office Depot has incredible savings on paper throughout the store, like 20% off a 10-ream case of Office Depot brand white copy paper. This is the last week of the Office Depot 20th anniversary event, so hurry in and celebrate the savings. In-store only while supplies last.
I'm Derek Jeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They'd teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
This is the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
The 1-1 and a swing and a ball drilled deep right center field, and the Mets are going to take the lead. A leadoff home run for Jose Reyes. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss and a slider. Pujols strikes out, and the inning is over. A standing ovation for John Maine. He sets. Edmonds is running, and the 3-2 is grounded weakly to short. Reyes shovels to second in time for the out. Back to first, double play. Even with the runner going, the Mets turn the 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. It has been a fine night for the New York Mets. Good pitching by John Maine. They've turned a couple of double plays. Bradford got one out of the pen. Mota got one out of the pen. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th here at Shea in a must-win game for the Mets, they continue to lead by a score of 2-0. And out of the bullpen for the Cardinals comes right-hander Braden Looper, the former Met closer, and a guy we last saw in Game 4 going 3 innings to save the rest of the Cardinal bullpen.
Danny, Tony La Russa got on a roll in Game 2. Every move he made late in the ball game, having Spezio in the lineup, going to Taguchi, going to Kinney against Beltran, rolling in for defense work. Game 3, the lineup, everybody contributed. Tonight, Willie Randolph brings in Bradford, rolling a pretty good low ball hitter, but he brings in the sinker baller. He gets the double play, and he goes against the left-hander Feliciano and brings in Mota because of that good changeup, and he gets the double play with Duncan up the plate.
And here's what's happening as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the Mets. So the pitcher spot due up third, and Aaron Heilman is warming in the Met pen. So we will likely see a pinch hitter third for the Mets, and then Heilman coming on to try and protect the lead in the 8th inning with Wagner in reserve for the 9th. 2-0 Mets on a Reyes home run and a Green RBI single. Here's Valentine 0 for 2. And the pitch from Looper. Valentine bunts it back toward the mound. Looper scoops it underhands to first in time. Valentine retired one down. Well, with each passing inning, each out that the Cardinals make, looking more and more like there may be a Game 7. And again, a reminder that we'll bring it to you here on ESPN Radio. The broadcast will begin at 7:35 Eastern Time tomorrow night if it's necessary. Jeff Suppan will be the starter for the Cardinals, and nobody's quite sure who it's going to be for the Mets. If the Mets win tonight, I'm sure Willie Randolph will make it official and announce it postgame. Eddie Chavez, the batter, he takes high. Willie Randolph had an idea before the game. We talked to him about it, but he's kind of playing it close to the vest. And it sure seemed like it would either be Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez, not Steve Traxel. The 1-0 to Chavez, and he slashes a ball to left field. Spezio is there to catch that slicing line drive. Chavez retired for the second out, and now Michael Tucker is going to bat for Guillermo Mota. And if you're Willie Randolph, say you start, well, it doesn't matter, Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez. You've got the other one if you need him. You've got Traxel if you need him. You've got all of your relievers if you need him. And you might even have Tom Glavine for an inning if you need him. And if you're the Cardinals, you've got a very reliable, proven starter in Jeff Suppan. And then if the Cardinals go on to lose this game, guys like Kinney and Wainwright probably won't get in tonight. So they'll be rested. Pitch to Tucker down and in, ball one.
Well, Danny, the Cardinal pitching in postseason, they gave up to 12 runs in one game, in game number 4. But other than that, they have given up 18 runs in the other 8 games, but they're trailing 2-0 in this one.
Pitch is fouled back, 1-1 on Tucker. Reyes is on deck should the inning continue. Game 1 went to the Mets, 2-0. A Beltran home run off Jeff Weaver. Game 2 was that big comeback by the Cardinals, the Spezio triple. Then the Toguchi home run off Wagner to give him the lead in the 9th inning as Tucker takes a strike 1-2. Game 3, the great performance by Jeff Suppan. The Cardinals scored early and won 5-0. The Mets erupted in winning Game 4, but then the Cardinals last night beat Tom Glavine to win Game 5. 1-2, and Tucker pops one back out of play.
Well, Braden Looper, kind of the whipping boy of the Mets fans a year ago when he was their closer and was suffering through some shoulder ails. But Tony La Russa said he came in here in a game in August and pitched the 8th inning when the crowd was hooting and hollering at him and was very credible. So he wasn't afraid to use him tonight.
He comes set, and he deals, and Tucker lines the ball to left field. Spezio charging, diving, got a piece of it, but it bounces away from him. He picks it up, fires it back into Eckstein to hold Tucker to a 2-out single. And that'll get Jose Reyes to the plate. And Reyes has come to life here tonight, 2 for 3, including a home run. He's also stolen a base.
Well, Spezio had it in his glove, but then it popped out. Good effort by Scott, but not a natural left fielder.
Here's Reyes. All of a sudden, Reyes' average in the series is over 300. And the pitch to him from Looper is way high for ball 1. It'll be Aaron Heilman to work the 8th inning for the Mets, and he's going to face the top of the order for the Cardinals. Eckstein, Spezio, and then Pujols. Looper sets. Crowd trying to get inside Looper's head right now as a throw to first, and Tucker stumbled into and then over the bag into foul territory getting back there.
First base has been a little bit of a problem area in this series.
Yep. And that situation where they changed a base in the middle of the game last night. They couldn't get the new one down into the ground. It caused about a 5-minute delay. And it may have rattled Jeff Weaver a little bit. Looper comes set. And the 1-0 to Reyes is fouled back. The World Series will begin Saturday night. Last I saw, Jim Leyland had yet to announce the order of his rotation, saying it depends on which team the Tigers are going to play.
Well, he may have to wait till after tomorrow night.
Yep. I'm sure he's told his pitchers scenario A, scenario B. Got to believe Kenny Rogers is going to pitch either 1 or 2. Runner goes. 1-1 to Reyes. Fouled off into the third base dugout. The count of 1-2 now on the Mets shortstop.
Hey, Michael, go back to first base. You're supposed to look and see where the ball is. Foul straight back. Tucker head first slide into second, was totally clueless.
Left-hander Tyler Johnson now throwing in the Cardinal pen. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mets. No runs on only 3 hits. No errors for the Cardinals. The Mets have left 4 on, the Cardinals 6. All of them in the first 4 innings. Maybe the tone was set in the first inning when the Cardinals left the bases loaded. Looper ahead of Reyes 1-2. Throw to first, runner back in, standing up.
Well, A lot of people come looking for late dramatics, but in the first inning, Jim Edmonds struck out with runners at third and second and one out. A huge out for Maine. Then after Encarnacion was hit, Scott Rowland hit a harmless pop to right. The Cardinals had one more threat in the third, a couple of guys out, and again, Edmonds hit a fly ball out, and Encarnacion struck out, and Cardinals haven't been heard from much except for getting a guy on and losing him to double plays in both the 6th and 7th.
Another throw to first. Chris Carpenter pitched better tonight than he did in Game 2, but John Maine pitched better tonight than he did in Game 2. And it's 2-0 Mets, bottom of the 7th, 2 outs and a runner at first. The 1-2 to Reyes is outside. LaDuca on deck should the inning continue. Both teams shorthanded due to injuries. The Mets still considered prohibitive favorites coming in on the basis of their 97 wins to the Cardinals' 83. The Cardinals, though, fighting them tooth and nail, but the Mets inching closer to forcing a Game 7. Looper steps off now. He summons Molina to the mound, and now this will really give the crowd a reason to get on his case.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Coming in, when the matchup was announced, but, realistically, with Pedro and El Duque down and not knowing much about John Maine and Traxel not pitching well down the stretch. And remember, Traxel went home for 5 or 6 days to deal with some personal issues, and he really has pitched very poorly since he has come back. Oliver Perez, a guy went 3 and 13, so I think that certainly emboldened the Cardinals.
Yep. All right, Molina back behind the plate. Looper and he have had the conversation. Let's go Mets is the chance here at Shea. Another throw to first by Looper, who's obsessed with Michael Tucker and is not paying enough attention to the guy who can really hurt him, Jose Reyes. And each time he throws over, the Met fans get a little bit louder and get on him more and more. Can he shut them out? Runner goes. It's a pitch out. Throw down by Molina is high. It'll go into center field. Tucker slid in safely. He will not make a break for third. So even on a pitch out, Michael Tucker steals a base.
Well, very unusual for Yadier Molina. Maybe just some frustration showing there. He just kind of aimed that ball and made a very poor throw to second base.
So now a base hit can give the Mets another insurance run. They're up 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. The runner at second, 2 down, and a full count on Reyes. Looper sets, checks the runner. He deals, and Reyes hits one in the hole at short. A diving stop by Eckstein to keep it on the infield and save a run. It'll be a base hit for Reyes, but Tucker has to stop at third because Eckstein kept the ball on the infield.
Well, baseball is a game of reminders, amongst other things. And whenever there's a man on second, a lot of times a catcher will come out in front of the home plate and kind of put his palms down. In other words, he's just reminding the infielders, knock down anything headed to the outfield. If you can't make a play on it, keep it from going. You don't have to remind David Eckstein, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do there.
A very good play by Eckstein, who remembers playing with a sore left shoulder, but had to reach out with his left arm, going way into the hole, and came up with the ball. No throw, but he kept it on the infield. Now LaDuca 0 for 3. Looper will step off and try to look the runner back, bluff a runner here. Nobody's buying it. And the crowd, Looper has kind of unwittingly whipped the crowd into a frenzy here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, he had them totally shut down, getting the first 2 guys out, and then went into slow motion.
Runner goes from first. LaDuca takes inside ball 1. No throw, as they'll basically concede second base to Reyes.
What they weren't going to do is they were not going to cover because Looper had such a slow delivery. They were not going to cover and open up a hole.
Reyes is credited with a steal on the play. A base hit now would score a pair. It's already 2-0 Mets, bottom of the 7th. And the crowd is hungry for more. A look back by Looper. And the 1-0, fastball inside, ball 2. Johnson is ready in the pen if necessary. If LaDuca reaches or walks or anything, you got to believe Johnson would come in to turn Beltran around. This is right up the fans' alley here. A chance to just torment Braden Looper. The 2-0 and a swing and a ball hit up the middle and into center, a base hit. In to score Tucker. In to score Reyes. A 2-run single for LaDuca. 4-0 for the Mets.
Well, we knew that this one and this series was going to be a battle of bullpens. Tony La Russa is very confident with two guys he has at the end, and Josh Kinney and Adam Wainwright. But he's losing confidence in a lot of other guys, whereas Willie Randolph has a couple of guys very well rested, Aaron Heilman and Billy Wagner. And if the Mets get more runs, he may be able to continue to rest them.
Tony La Russa to the mound. He'll take the ball from Looper, and Looper's really going to hear it now as he makes his way to the Cardinal dugout. Tyler Johnson will come in. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. The Mets now lead 4-0. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The Joneses like things fast. They use Zantac. It's fast, like last night after dinner.
Heartburn?
Painful.
Zantac.
Thank you. And then later.
Better? Completely. Zantac's fast.
The Joneses know Zantac quickly relieves the toughest heartburn. And more, like before the Joneses family barbecue.
Ribs?
Heartburn.
Zantac.
First?
Prevents.
Amazing.
Zantac's fast.
Zantac before a meal prevents heartburn. Zantac after a meal quickly stops heartburn. Maximum strength Zantac. It's
fast.
Use as directed. Controls heartburn in 30 to 60 minutes.
I am Dr. Jen, and I'm taking your Love Life calls. And here's Kevin. Go ahead.
Jen, what's the easiest way to get to 79 Williams Ave?
Follow your heart?
For the easiest route to any address, you want to ask TomTom, not Jen.
Turn left.
TomTom Go is your portable, everyday GPS solution. Grab it and go. Just tap the screen, and a helpful voice guides you on your way.
You have reached your destination.
TomTom Go. Find your way the easy way. Learn more at TomTom.com.
Kevin Winter with you at our Baseball Tonight studios. Want to remind you, Mondays are back. Monday Night Football on ESPN HD. This week, a battle in the NFC East. The New York Giants visit the Dallas Cowboys. Starts at 8:30 Monday night. Available on ESPN HD. The Mets entered today trailing the St. Louis Cardinals 3-2. They got a solo home run by Jose Reyes leading off the bottom of the first. They tacked on a run in the fourth, and now Paul LaDuca with a 2-run single has put the Mets that much closer to a Game 7 tomorrow night, which would be 7:35 Eastern Time, right here on ESPN Radio. Pitching change at Game 6. Let's go back to Shea. Here's Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell.
Thank you, Kevin. Left-hander Tyler Johnson, the third pitcher of the night for the Cardinals. LaDuca's at first with 2 down, 4-0 Mets in the 7th. And the batter is Beltran, who now will bat from the right side. Johnson's first pitch up and away, ball 1. Beltran is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 4th inning. Braden Looper got the first 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Then a base hit by Tucker, and as soon as Tucker got on, Looper appeared to lose his focus and was worrying more about the runner than the hitter, Jose Reyes. The 1-0 is outside. And eventually, even with a pitch out, Tucker stole second. Reyes with an infield hit to move to third. Second, uncontested, and LaDuca drove them both in with a base hit up the middle. It is 4-0 for the Mets. And as Kevin said, a Game 7 looking more at 2 out. And the 2-0, a slider for a Johnson.
The finding for the Cardinals right now is that if they're going to lose this game, at least they didn't have to use Randy Flores, Josh Kinney, and their closer Adam Wainwright, all of who pitched in Game 5 and could have been a little tired.
The pitch is fouled back, 2-2.
Yeah, you bring those guys in, and then you pitch them 2 nights in a row, and then what are you thinking about tomorrow? Yeah, they can go to the post, but how effective will their stuff be?
I guess it's fitting, and this one's not over yet, but it would wind up going 7 with all the twists and turns and some of the good play by each team, and at times both teams have not played very well at all here in this series, have gift-wrapped opportunities to the other. Pitch is outside, now a full count on Beltran with Delgado on deck. A run in the first for the Mets on a home run by Reyes. A run on the 4th on an RBI single by Green. 2 here in the 7th. on that hit by LaDuca. Runner going in the 3-2. Chop toward third. Short hop attempt by Rowland, and it's off his glove, and everybody is safe.
Well, that's a play that Scott patents, but it's also a do-or-die play, and you're not going to come up with it every time. He figured if he lays back on it, Beltran's probably going to beat it out, but we'll see what the scoring is.
An error charged to Rowland is the initial call. Kind of a tough call with the short hop and the speed of Beltran.
Yeah, we've seen Rowland make that play twice in the series, once on the backhand side, once on the forehand side like that one, but right now it's all coming up for the Mets.
Delgado is the batter now. He's 0 for 3. 2 flyouts and a pop-up. First and second, 2 down, 4-0. The Mets up on the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 7th. Johnson sets, checks the runner at second. And the pitch to Delgado, a swing and a foul back. This inning began with the first 2 hitters being retired, but the last 4 have reached and 2 runs have scored. 56,334 in attendance here tonight at Shea, and just about all of them are standing. 0-1 the count as Johnson sets. And the pitch to Delgado, a slider and a check swing and a ball just outside, 1-1. Heilman is going to work the 8th inning for the Mets. David Wright on deck should the inning continue. LaDuca at second, Beltran at first. Johnson nods in agreement with Molina, and now he sets. And the 1-1, a slider grounded down to first, right at Pujols. He'll wave off Johnson. Good thing he did. Johnson never got off the mound, but Pujols beats Delgado to the bag, and the inning is over. Paul LaDuca with a clutch 2-run single, and through 7, the Mets lead 4-0. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone, continues after these messages from your local station.
Sean Salisbury breaks down the NFL with Dan Patrick.
Nick Saban said, without saying it publicly, that they made a mistake on trying to start Dante Culpepper this year.
Absolutely, and if he's not saying it, I'll say it for him. Dan, that's a 16-month physical injury. Then the mental anguish of the rehab and getting out there and trusting yourself. I think it was Nick wishing, grasping onto the fact that they have an explosive player, but an 80% Dante Culpepper right now is not good enough on a team that has absolutely nothing going on. They're done.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays on ESPN Radio. Colin Cowherd continues to educate the masses.
Vince in Phoenix, you're in the Herd on ESPN Radio.
I'm a passionate Cowboy fan, passionate. I fully believe that it was more of a Bill Parcells play calling is the reason why we lost.
The guy is arguably the best coach.
Owens the way
they threw to him 12 times. Play calling is for rubes. It's all about play efficiency. Don't become one of those guys.
Bill kept complaining he was always covered throughout the sky open.
What do you do for a living?
I'm self-employed. Power washing business.
You power wash cars. Bill Parcells has been in the league 30 years. You suddenly got smarter than him. Hey, nothing wrong with power washing my El Camino, but my gut feeling is, let's see, I can have Bill Parcells or Power Wash Guy. I'm going Bill Parcells. His play calling was fine. The Cowboys' play efficiency was terrible, because T.O.'s never at practice.
Get in the Herd, weekdays on ESPN Radio.
Every once in a while, Mike and Mike in the Morning can make you take a trip down memory lane.
I'm going to take you back to your high school years, my friend. Your head's going in the toilet. You got a swirly coming right now.
You mean my high school years? That happened when I...
That happened before the show yesterday?
Yes, that was part of my indoctrination here to ESPN. Chris Berman and Bob Lee just held me down. It was pathetic.
It's Mike and Mike in the Morning, weekdays on ESPN Radio.
Back at Shea with Dave Campbell, I'm Dan Shulman, and you're listening to Game 6 of the National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio. The Mets lead the Cardinals 4-0 as we go to the 8th, and Aaron Heilman comes on out of the bullpen for the Mets. Incidentally, remember that stat we gave you earlier about how Cardinal pitching had not allowed a single hit with runners in scoring position and 2 outs the entire postseason, entering the game with the opposition 0 for 31. It got up to 0 for 34, but that hit by LaDuca was a 2-out hit with a runner in scoring position. Actually, 2 of them, and 2 runs scored. David Eckstein, the batter, and he'll take a strike.
Well, there was a note that Danny gave earlier in the game about this is the 7th time with a team down 3-2 in the history of postseason they started a rookie.
Eckstein takes a little low, 1-1.
And that's what the Mets did tonight, and John Maine was their pitcher. And unbelievably, the 6 previous times the team started a rookie, they won. This could be 7 if Maine wins tonight.
Eckstein pulls one foul down the left field line, 1-2.
Goes back to 1912. Last time was Tim Wakefield in Game 6 for the Pirates. That was with Jim Leland managing the Pirates in 1992.
The 1-2 from Heilman and a swing and a chopper toward first. Big hop for Delgado to the bag himself, 1 down. All right, let me look ahead with you, and you want to play armchair manager.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 4-0 going to the top of the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Wagner's your closer. It's a non-save situation. Wagner may come in and mow him down. He hasn't worked in several days. But every now and again, Billy Wagner also needs about 30 pitches to get through an inning. And does that jeopardize him for tomorrow night?
I think if Heilman sails through this one, I think I'd start Heilman, have him get it out, and then bring in Billy. I think you need to keep him sharp.
Scott Spezio 1 for 3. First pitch swinging, a pop-up. Reyes, the shortstop, back on the outfield grass. 2 down. Well, right now, Heilman is making quick work. He's got 2 outs on only 5 pitches here.
Yeah, and this is very good for Willie Randolph, as opposed to the setup man of the Cardinals last night. Josh Kinney had to throw 27 pitches to get 4 outs. Heilman looks like he's less than 5 or so just to get 2 outs now.
Here's Albert Pujols, 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. He singled back in the first. Heilman's pitch up and in. The Cardinals have only 3 hits tonight. A single in the first by Spezio. He moved to third on a single by Pujols, who took second on the throw. And then a single by Belliard to lead off the 7th. That is it. They've drawn a few walks, but those are the only hits. 1-0, and Pujols takes a strike.
Albert continues to pull the ball when he gets his hits, and this is a guy that usually uses the entire field, but he has not much in this series, and you just wonder if the hamstring's affecting his swing.
1-1 from Heilman, and a swing and a base hit into left field. So Pujols is 2 for 3, on base for the 3rd time. That'll get Edmonds to the plate.
But again, you and I have seen Albert Pujols for 6 years, and that stroke there where he's reaching out and hitting little low line drives to left field, I mean, that's good for a mere mortal. I mean, be happy with the base hits, but that's not the Albert Pujols swing we're used to seeing, where he stays inside the ball and drives it violently to right center and left center. All of his hits in this series, save 2 ground balls through the right side, have been pulled down the left field line or on the left side.
Delgado looked into the first base dugout at Willie Randolph and asked Randolph where he should play, and I think Randolph told him he wants him to play behind the runner, and yes, Delgado now going off the bag. He's standing behind Pujols, and these two have been engaged in a conversation all night long whenever one of them has been at first base. The pitch to Edmonds. He checks the swing, and he takes a strike. Edmonds 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. The Mets 4, the Cardinals nothing. The Cardinals hitting in the top of the 8th inning. Game 7 if necessary. Tomorrow night, a 7:35 Eastern Time broadcast start here on ESPN Radio. The 0-1. Edmonds looks at strike 2. And he didn't like it. 56,000 liked it here at Shea. Heilman sets. And the pitch down and away. Try to tease him with a changeup, but Edmonds wouldn't offer at it. John Maine went 5 1/3 shutout innings. Chad Bradford an inning, got a double play ball. Guillermo Mota 2/3 of an inning, got a double play ball. Now Heilman in the 8th. The 1-2, and Edmonds swings and misses. The inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 8th here at Shea. The Mets on top of the Cardinals 4-0. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
The point of commercials is, of course, to get you to do something. For example, we'd like you to go to Geico.com and get a free rate quote. But if you're still not reaching for your mouse, at least do this for me. Call a friend who has Geico and ask some questions. Can Geico really save me that much money? Is their claim service as good as, well, they claim? Are they really available 24/7? Once you get your answers, we'll be right here.
Go to geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
For many Americans, the inclusion of Theodore Roosevelt on Mount Rushmore seems a curious choice. Many assume it was his vast knowledge of student loans that secured his place. Not true. In fact, when it comes to federal, state, and local government info, Teddy couldn't hold a candle to 1-800-FED-INFO. The people to call when you have questions about anything from applying for Medicare to changing your address. 1-800-FED-INFO, the official source of useful information.
790 The Sports Animal presents Real Sports Animal Genius. Real Sports Animal Genius. Here's to you, Mr. I Now Listen to Davies and Dukes in the Morning.
Mr. I Now Listen to Davies and Dukes in the Morning.
Yes, it is you. The sports fanatic that loves to give the new guys
a new morning show
a chance.
I listen to them.
Is it because they're entertaining?
Very funny.
Is it because they're knowledgeable?
Extremely.
Or is it because you're just a diehard?
All of the above.
Yes, it is you.
Me.
The guy who loves sports talk radio in the morning.
I love it.
And the guy who now has 2 new men in his life.
2 new what?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Mr. I Now Listen to Davies and Dukes in the Morning.
This is 790 Sports Animal. The Sports Animal.
With Dave Campbell, I'm Dan Shulman, and you're listening to Game 6 of the National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio. The Mets with 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the seventh. Lead 4-0 as they come up in the bottom of the 8th. Tyler Johnson back on the mound for the Cardinals. David Wright, Sean Green, Jose Valentine, the scheduled hitters for the Mets, who are 3 outs away from forcing Game 7. And Billy Wagner is up in the bullpen right now for New York. David Wright tonight is 1 for 3, had a single to center in the 4th inning. He's now 3 for 20 in the NLCS. The Mets have played a very clean game here tonight. Great pitching. Timely hitting, as they say. Some very good defense. They've turned a couple of double plays. The first pitch of the inning to Wright is a fastball a little bit low, ball 1.
Another little move Willie Randolph made. Look back at that 3rd inning, only leading 1-0. He intentionally walked Albert Pujols, put the go-ahead run on base in the 3rd inning, and it paid off. So Willie's had a good night. All his moves have paid off this evening.
1-0 to Wright. A late call for a strike at the knees, 1-1. Got to be frustrating for Pujols. The better he hits, the less of a chance they'll give him to hit. And if it gets to a Game 7 tomorrow, I mean, they might take the bat out of his hands at every opportunity. Brad Thompson warming in the Cardinal pen as Wright fouls one back, 1-2.
Probably the most important guy in the lineup tomorrow may be the guy that Tony selects to hit behind Pujols in the lineup. And I kind of have a feeling whoever starts for the Mets, it's going to be a left-hander.
Yeah, either Oliver Perez or Darren Oliver. So it would figure the number 4 hitter. It could be Encarnacion. It could be Preston Wilson if he's in the lineup. 1-2, and Wright takes just up and away. I guess conceivably it could be Roland or Edmonds. Who knows?
Is it too late to go out and make a trade for Manny Ramirez? That might be a pretty good selection to hit behind him. Just being facetious, folks.
Johnson sets. And the 2-2 to Wright. A swing and a pop-up, foul territory, first base side. Pujols over near the seats has room, and he makes the catch about 3 or 4 feet away from the fans as Wright is retired, 1 down. Now Sean Green. It's going to be interesting to see if, let's say, Johnson gets through this inning, how many pitches he throws. He's thrown 14 already. If he gets up to 20 or 25, what that does to his availability. And again, it'll be a Game 7. I mean, everybody will be available, but maybe the better way to say it is what that would do to his effectiveness if he's needed tomorrow. The pitch to Green, and it hits him right in the backside. Johnson with a fastball drills Green, who jogs down to first. Green 2 for 3 into that plate appearance, on base now for the 3rd time. Now here's Jose Valentine, who's 0 for 3. Valentine batting from the right side against the left-hander Johnson. Pujols will hold on to Green at first base. Johnson gathers in the sign from Molina. Eyeing Green at first a couple of times. And a third time, and finally the left-hander steps off.
Well, the Cardinals are winning the time of possession battle, but that's not a good thing to have in baseball.
Cardinals had some good chances early, couldn't capitalize. And the Mets have scratched out a run here and there. They're up 4-0, bottom of the 8th inning. And the pitch to Valentine is outside, ball 1. More good news for the Mets is they're not likely to have to deal with Pujols at all in the 9th inning. If they do, they've got real problems. Pujols got a base hit with 2 outs in the 8th, but then Edman struck out. So it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. And Encarnacion, Roland, and Belliard due up in the 9th inning for St. Louis. Throw to first, and the runner back in easily. Tomorrow it's expected to be cooler, and there is the threat of rain early in the day, I believe, but I don't think we're going to run into anything too serious. We've already had 2 rainouts in this series. I don't believe a third is that much of a threat. Johnson eyes the runner again. Green is going. The 1-0 swung on, grounded down to third. Roland's only play is to first base. He'll make the throw to Pujols, 2 down. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
KBM is live from the Budweiser Studios. This is the exclusive home of Fox Sports, 790 The Sports Animal, and 790thesportsanimal.com.
Willie Randolph keeping the Mets out of a double play there by starting the runners. So Green's at second with 2 down, and Andy Chavez will be the hitter. Chavez 1 for 3, had a bunt single in the 3rd. A look back by Johnson. And the pitch way inside, ball 1. Remember, he hit Green already this inning. He just about hit Chavez.
Yep, don't think he's trying to. I just think Tyler Johnson's having a little trouble locating, and he was the main left-hander for Tony La Russa when this series started. I think Randy Flores has gone ahead of him. I think Tony thinks he may be just a little skitterish right now.
Julio Franco is out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Heilman. Billy Wagner's warming in the pen. The 1-0 to Chavez is outside, ball 2. Chris Carpenter, the starter for the Cardinals tonight, he gave up 2 runs in 6 innings, didn't walk a batter, struck out 4. But John Maine for the Mets went 5 1/3 shutout innings, allowing only 2 hits. He struck out 5. The 2-0 now to Chavez, and a slider is taken low, ball 3. 4-0 Mets. Bottom of the 8th inning. If Chavez reaches, we may see the right-hander Brad Thompson with Franco in the on-deck circle right now. Johnson's gotten a couple of outs, but he hasn't looked overly confident, or his command has not been great since entering this game. The 3-0, and there's a strike of the knees, 3-1.
Edman's playing awfully shallow in center for Andy Chavez.
Rolling in on the edge of the grass. Now he backs up a couple of steps into the baseline. Green the leadoff second. Neither of the middle infielders really trying to keep him close at all. A look back by Johnson. And the 3-1, a swing and a weak ground ball hit toward first. Pujols has it, and he'll get into the baseline and put the tag on Chavez to end the inning. So we will go to the 9th here at Shea, with the Mets leading the Cardinals 4-0. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone, continues after these messages from your local station.
This Sunday at 7.
Where do you want to be?
I'd like a real estate website where I can look at all the listings, not just those of a single company.
I'll know the right house when I see it, but it's frustrating having to go from website to website. I'm wearing out my mouse.
Find your perfect place. It's easy at RE/MAX.com. Now RE/MAX.com has more home listings to choose from than ever. RE/MAX listings, and our competitors' listings, too. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Each office independently owned and operated.
Here is an important health announcement. A great resource is now even better. It's called 5 Wishes. 5 Wishes is an advanced directive that helps individuals and families plan and receive the medical care they deserve in case of life-threatening illness, and helps ensure that treatment preferences are followed if people can't speak for themselves. Now 5 Wishes has been translated into 20 different languages, eliminating barriers to critical end-of-life decision-making for non-English speaking members of many ethnically and culturally diverse communities. 5 Wishes gives thousands of individuals who may not speak English access in their language to this important information. We urge you to take time to find out about 5 Wishes. Share it with your family. Complete your own 5 wishes before your next birthday. Go to www.agingwithdignity.org. That's www.agingwithdignity.org. This public service message is brought to you by United Health Foundation, an independent, not-for-profit foundation dedicated to better health outcomes and healthier communities.
The Challenge Center is a nonprofit organization developed to help those in need in the Houston area. They're proud to announce their association with the Good Neighbor program at all Randall's grocery stores. When you check out, simply inform the cashier that you'd like them to record your purchases to the Good Neighbor program, to the Challenge Center, number 8308. That's the Challenge Center, number 8308. A portion of your purchases will go to help those Houston individuals in need. Make a difference with the Challenge Center and the Good Neighbor program at Randall's grocery stores.
Right. This is 790 The Sports Animal. Right.
We go to the top of the ninth here at Shea Stadium, and Dan Shulman and Dave Campbell with you on ESPN Radio. The Mets take a 4-0 lead to the ninth inning here in Game 6. 3 outs away from forcing a deciding Game 7 tomorrow night. Billy Wagner has come out of the pen for the Mets, his 3rd appearance of the series. Didn't pitch at all in St. Louis. Got the save here in Game 1, gave up 3 runs, and took the loss here in Game 2. He'll face Juan Encarnacion, Scott Rowland, and Ronnie Belliard. And all Willie Randolph is thinking right now is, Billy, get him quick. Don't throw 25 or 30 pitches having to get through this inning. Activity in the Met pen as the inning begins, and Encarnacion takes a pitch high, ball 1. 4-0 New York. Jose Reyes has a home run. Paul LaDuca, a 2-run single. Encarnacion takes up an away ball 2. And he wasn't swinging at anything, Soup. He was dropping the bat down to his waist as both pitches came in. They're going to make Wagner throw strikes. Here's the 2-0, and there's a fastball down the middle, 2-1. Well,
that's a good plan. I mean, the Cardinals need to get something out of this game. If they can't win it, then the game plan right now is make Wagner work.
The 2-1, and Encarnacion fouls it out of play. 2-2. Warming up, or at least throwing, in the New York Met bullpen is Steve Traxel. What are we to make of that?
Not much.
The 2-2, and it's lined into right center field, a base hit. The leadoff man is aboard for the Cardinals here in the 9th inning.
Well, the Met faithful saw Billy Wagner come into a game back in May against the New York Yankees in interleague play with a 4-0 lead and promptly coughed it up. So they have that memory, and they have the memory of what the Cardinals did to him on Friday the 13th when number 13 came in. So they're a little uneasy right now, even with a 4-run lead.
Here's Scott Rowland, 0 for 3. Wagner sets and deals, and a fastball is in for a strike. Delgado is playing in the vicinity of the bag. He starts the play on first. He comes off the bag and is basically standing right in front of the runner, Encarnacion, as Wagner deals. Now the 0-1 to Rowland. Fastball in for strike 2.
Well, Tony's still got his secret weapon over on the bench, So Taguchi, who has had an unbelievable postseason in spot play.
4-0 Mets in the 9th. Runner at first, nobody out. And the 0-2 from Wagner, a fastball inside of the knees, a ball and 2 strikes on Scott Rowland.
They have not done much to Rowland except throw him fastballs. They don't seem to want to do him any favors and go off speed because they just don't think he can catch up with the good gas with that bad shoulder.
The 1-2 on the way, and a fastball fouled back. That ball was a little bit up at the belt, maybe a little bit above, and Rowland fouled it back. Ronnie Belliard on deck. Yadier Molina behind him. A 4-0 lead for the Mets. If there's a Game 7, we'll bring it to you tomorrow night beginning at 7:35 Eastern as time is called. With every game, the Tigers watch a little more, rest a little more. These two teams wearing themselves out. The 1-2, and Roland pulls the ball toward the left field corner. That's over the head of Chavez. It'll bounce up against the fence. Around to third comes Encarnacion on a double by Roland. Well.
Well, now they're buzzing, folks. And I guarantee you, Steve Traxel's not throwing to come in this game. Only Randolph's not going to do that, so he may get somebody else up.
Well, he's got Roberto Hernandez, Pedro Feliciano, or Darren Oliver. Those are his other three options.
I have no idea why they would throw Roland a slider. They've thrown him fastballs all night. All they did was speed his bat up. Horrible pitch selection there.
Now Belliard, who's 1 for 3. 4-0 New York, but second and third, nobody out for the Cardinals. And the pitch from Wagner, a slider down and in, ball 1. The crowd has grown restless, to say the least. We can hear them hurling insults at Billy Wagner, who they cheered wildly about 3 minutes ago. The 1-0. Fastball inside corner, 1-1.
Well, again, the Cardinals are making Wagner throw a strike. They've had the take sign. They'll have the take sign until the tying run can come to the plate.
Traxel has stopped throwing. Nobody has replaced him. The 1-1, and Belliard goes around at a slider way down and in, and the count is 1-2. That pitch bounced and almost got to the backstop.
Again, LaDuca, not known for the defense, has made 3 outstanding defensive plays. That was a short hop, so he's done a great job behind the plate tonight.
A look back by Wagner, and the 1-2, and a slider hit toward third. The runners are going to hold as David Wright corrals it, pulls Delgado off the bag, but Delgado tags Belliard on the way by for the first out. Now Yadier Molina. The Cardinals are 1 base runner away from getting the tying run to the plate. And out in the on-deck circle right now is So Taguchi to bat in the pitcher's spot. The same Taguchi who hit a home run off Wagner in Game 2. Molina tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. Wagner sets. And the pitch, a fastball, line to left center, charging Beltran. He'll make the catch for the second out. The runners will not advance. A one-hop strike to the plate by Beltran, but the runners aren't going to risk it because there's enough the runs that matter. That is the second out of the inning.
Well, Molina swung at the first pitch, and he didn't really give a chance for Wagner to throw more pitches. So I don't know that Tony will be real pleased with that.
Now here comes Taguchi. Taguchi has not started a game in the postseason. He's got 3 at-bats, and he's homered twice and singled in the other. And again, one of the home runs was off Wagner. That proved to be the winning run back into Game 2. David Eckstein is on deck if Taguchi can reach. The pitch, a fastball inside corner with the knees, 0-1. At third, Encarnacion. At second, Roland. The pitch, slider, wild swing and a miss by Taguchi, 0-2.
Fans back cheering for Billy now.
What have you done for me lately means about the last 7 or 8 pitches for Wagner. The 0-2 and a slider. Oh, ho, ho. Did you see the right arm of Gary Darling? It started up, and then he put it back in the holster, deciding it was low. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Taguchi. The whole stadium saw him flinch. Now the 1-2 and a slider fouled off the left leg of Taguchi.
Well, Gary Darling has had a real good night behind the plate tonight. I think He'll probably be a little embarrassed that the arm started to go up, but he also has the satisfaction of knowing he got the call right because it was low.
Well, if he can punch out the hitter and he's neutral, but he might do it with a little extra gusto just to make it up to the home fans here on this one. Second and third, 2 down, 4-0 Mets in the ninth. The pitch and a slider yanked down the left field line, a fair ball. That'll get to the corner and score both runners. Taguchi with a 2-run double. He is 4 for 4 in the postseason. It's now the Mets 4, the Cardinals 2, and David Eckstein is going to come up as the potential tying run.
Well, Danny, Billy Wagner has made his living throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. I don't think he's real happy with his fastball right now. Now he's getting too slider happy. That was a hanger. He threw a slider to Roland that got him in trouble. And now he's got to go back to his bread and butter.
And now he's already thrown 20 pitches. And again, this could come into play and affect his ability to be effective tomorrow night. And he's got a guy at the plate in David Eckstein who is not going to be a quick out, is not going to make it easy on Billy Wagner. Eckstein the tying run. The pitch, a slider upstairs. Eckstein ducking a little bit and making that strike zone look even smaller. And it's high ball 1.
Captain Clutch on deck. Scott Spezio, 15 for 22 with men in scoring position in his career.
The 1-0 down and in. Soup David Eckstein has faced Billy Wagner once in his career. Hard to believe that's it. But he's faced Wagner once. He hit a home run. Eckstein choking up on the bat as always. 2-0 the count. A nervous ninth for Met fans. And the pitch, a fastball for a strike. 2-1, and you knew Eckstein would take one strike. 4-2, the Mets lead. Ninth inning, 2 down. Runner at second. A look back by Wagner. The 2-1, a slider bounce to the right side. Valentine has it on to first, and the Mets win it. It wasn't easy, but Billy Wagner finally subdues the Cardinals in the ninth inning. The Mets win 4-2, and the Cardinals and the Mets are going to Game 7 tomorrow night at Shea Stadium, and you can hear it right here on ESPN Radio beginning at 7:35 Eastern.
Well, Danny, the night belongs to a couple of Mets, 3 if you really want to count Paul LaDuca, who I thought was instrumental, but John Maine set the tone early, got out of a big crisis in the first. Jose Reyes, who had been pretty silent, stepped up big time with 3 hits, a homer, and 2 stolen bases. And Paul LaDuca got a big 2 RBI single that proved to be the difference. Also made 3 or 4 terrific defensive plays.
The Mets win 4-2 to even up the series at 3 wins apiece. Game 7 tomorrow night. Let's go down to field level now. Sean Green is standing by. Sean, Dan Schulman, Dave Campbell, ESPN Radio. We were just talking about John Maine. You guys have to be awfully impressed with the poise that he showed tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean that was huge. It doesn't get any more pressure packed than pitching Game 6 with our backs against the wall and the fans going crazy. But he came out and had just an incredible performance.
Sean, your old teammate up in Toronto, Chris Carpenter, had the better of you before this series, but probably gives you a little satisfaction to come back and get a couple of key hits against him tonight.
Yeah, I know, it felt really good. I've said that the last couple of years, I feel like he's the best pitcher I've seen in the last several years, and that puts him in categories like Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. He's got that kind of stuff, and yeah, I mean, tonight I was just able to get some pitches. He threw a lot of fastballs, and I was able to get a couple pitches to hit hard.
Hey, Sean, any idea who's starting tomorrow night for you guys?
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, let us know if you find out, all right?
I will.
Thank you. Sean Green of the Mets, the Game 7 starter, at least publicly undecided at this point. I imagine Willie Randolph will make the announcement shortly in the media room, whether it's Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez starting in Game 7. But, you know, we talked about it middle of the game, Soup. There have been times in this series each team has played extremely well. And to be honest, there have been times where each team has played poorly. They appear to be evenly matched, even though they were 14 wins apart during the regular season. I guess it's fitting we're going to Game 7.
Yeah, I think so. But, the Met fans, they're going to be nervous by nature, and they're just going to go, oh, boy, Billy's making us nervous now. His last 2 appearances, he's given up 5 runs. But, it's the nature of the beast when you're in that closer role. So if he sleeps well tonight, then the Met fans should.
Momentum means nothing?
No. Starting pitching and who makes the plays, who gets the key hits. It should be a terrific game.
It really should. It's been a very entertaining series that's going to go the distance, going to go to Game 7. The Mets, in front of a crowd of 56,334, win Game 6 by a score of 4-2. John Maine, 5 1/3 shutout innings. He gets the win. The loss to Chris Carpenter, who pitched very well, but Maine just a little bit better. The big 2-run single by Paul LaDuca in the bottom of the 7th gave them that breathing room, and we're going back down to the field with Paul LaDuca now. Paul, Dan Shulman, and Dave Campbell on ESPN Radio. I know the hit was big, but I know you'd rather talk about what John Maine did tonight.
I tell you, it was awesome. I went to him right after we threw the ball down the first inning. I said, "You're our guy tonight. Let me see what you got." And I'll tell you what, he showed me a lot tonight, and you might have saw maturation of going to be a good pitcher in this league for a long time.
Paulie, I know you have great respect for Molina and his defensive abilities, but I thought tonight, you had 3 or 4 extremely difficult plays in the dirt, and you came up with one of them, almost threw a runner out. You have to be pleased with your defense tonight as well.
Well, like I said, Dave, if you can't hit the ball, you might as well do something else. I haven't been swinging the bat too good, but like I said, we made some good pitches when we had to, and this is an unbelievable series. It's going to be even funner tomorrow night.
Oh, we asked Sean Green. He didn't know who should we lay our $2 down on. Who's starting tomorrow night?
I don't know. I'm going to Taco Bell for my good luck Taco Bell tonight. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll find out.
Good to know. All right, whatever works. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Paul LaDuca of the Mets is good luck Taco Bell, minutes away here in New York. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and it's not over yet. Game 7 tomorrow night. We'll preview it for you when we come back. Tonight's game has been brought to you by award-winning Olivia HD TVs. Crisp, clear, dynamic color, ideal for watching fast-moving action. Soup and I will be back to look ahead to Game 7, and Kevin Winter is standing by with the Baseball Tonight postgame show. Again, the final from Shea. The Mets 4, the Cardinals 2. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
It's here at Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealerships. The Right Now factory authorized service event with special offers on tires, brakes, batteries, and more. Buy 4 Michelin or BF Goodrich tires and get the Works Fuel Saver package on us. That's a Motorcraft synthetic blend oil change, tire rotation, and more. Genuine parts and service at Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealerships. Hurry, it all ends soon. Call 1-877-310-3673 or see participating dealer for details through 11/30/06.
How hard can it be? You put up a sign, you just wait for the offers to roll in. It becomes a second job.
Getting the house appraised and the comps.
The money that you think you're going to save, you end up losing. I've bought and sold homes before, and now the first thing I do is call a realtor.
Realtors have the experience to price your home so it can sell for up to 16% more than selling it yourself.
Using a realtor is a smart financial decision.
Get the facts straight about selling your own home. Talk to an agent and be sure to ask if that agent is a realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors.
It's way too risky to sell your house on your own.
The U.S. Department of Energy estimates that properly insulating your home can help cut your energy costs by up to 30%. And the best place to start is by adding Owens Corning Pink Insulation to your attic. It could help reduce your energy costs all year long. There's never been a better time to insulate, because now you can get a 10% tax credit up to $500 for qualified energy-efficient improvements. So add a little more insulation in your attic. It can save you a lot in the long run. Visit owenscorning.com or call 1-800-GET-PINK.
AOL users, now you can keep your AOL email address for free. Bring it with you to Net Zero and save almost $200 a year. With AOL's recent decision to let you keep your email address for free, you can get your email from AOL and your internet access from Net Zero. Net Zero is only $9.95 a month. That's less than half the price of AOL. And Net Zero ranks higher in customer satisfaction. So why wouldn't you do it? Take 2 minutes now and download Net Zero. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
Kevin Winter with you at our Baseball Tonight studios. Jose Reyes starts it with a home run for the Mets, and 25-year-old rookie John Maine tosses 5 1/3 shutout innings. The Mets stay alive. They beat the Cardinals by a count of 4-2. They force a 7th and deciding game tomorrow night at Shea. Coming up, Dave Campbell, Dan Shulman have their final thoughts, and we'll preview Game 7. You are listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio, presented by AutoZone.
Have you ever found a penny on the ground? Of course you have. Well, imagine that for the next 50,000 steps you take, there's always a penny at your feet. It feels like that.
Have you ever put on a pair of clean pants and found a $20 bill in the pocket? Man, that's a good feeling, right? Well, take that feeling and multiply it by 25 pairs of pants, and you're close.
New GEICO customers report average annual savings of $500 on their car insurance. Discover how it feels and how much you could save. Go to geico.com. Simple as that.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Keep your car running right and save money today. Get to AutoZone now and change your oil and filter every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Now, for a limited time at AutoZone, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX motor oil and a Bosch oil filter for only $12.99. That's right, just $12.99. See store for details. Don't send your engine to an early grave. Get to AutoZone. Change your oil and get more life out of your car.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Prostate cancer. It's an important subject. Did you know there are more new cases of prostate cancer each year than any other cancer? That's why it's so important to get regular doctor checkups and ask about ways to reduce your risk of prostate cancer. You can also switch your multivitamin to One-A-Day Men's Health Formula, a complete multivitamin specially formulated with selenium, which emerging research suggests may help reduce the risk of prostate cancer. One-A-Day Men's is a proud sponsor of the Lance Armstrong Foundation. For more information on cancer survivorship, go to livestrong.org.
Are you struggling with too much credit card debt, sky-high interest rates, having trouble just making the monthly minimums? We're Credit Card Relief. We've helped thousands of people become debt-free in months instead of years, all while saving thousands of dollars. The consultation is free and the relief is real. Call Credit Card Relief, 866-333-9191. That's 866-333-9191. Not available in all states.
This is the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
The 2-0 and a swing and a ball hit up the middle and into center, a base hit. In to score Tucker. In to score Reyes. A 2-run single for LaDuca. 4-0 for the Mets. And they needed those runs because Billy Wagner gave up a couple in the ninth. The final score was 4-2. Game 7 tomorrow night. Again, the starting pitcher for the Mets may be announced momentarily, probably either Darren Oliver or Oliver Perez. Either way, it's a left-hander. We don't know which one. I got to believe So Taguchi's going to be in the lineup for the Cardinals. He's 4 for 4 with 2 homers and a double so far in the postseason. Billy Wagner threw a lot of pitches tonight. Is his confidence shaken? That's a subplot. We got a million subplots going into a winner-take-all Game 7 tomorrow night.
Yeah, and, we've seen a lot of numbers for the Met hitters against Cardinal starters, and most of the time they really favor the New York hitters. But Jeff Supan's been one guy who's really been able to hold guys like Sean Green and Delgado and Beltran down in his career. That doesn't mean beans for Game 7, but that it stands pretty good for Tony La Russa, and it is going to be interesting. There's really nobody in that Cardinal lineup, and there's nobody on that team except So Taguchi is swinging the bat very well right now. And Tony, he's really been an afterthought most of the year, but right now, I think Tony's got to consider maybe even hitting him behind Albert Pujols, so they just stop walking Albert.
So it's Game 7 tomorrow night, 7:35 Eastern Time is the broadcast start here on ESPN Radio. Jeff Suppan for the Cardinals, TBA for the New York Mets, but it figures to be fun as the Cardinals and the Mets will finish it off at a Game 7 with the winner advancing to play the Tigers in the World Series beginning on Saturday night. That's going to do it for us from Shea Stadium. Again, the final, the Mets 4 and the Cardinals 2. For Dave Campbell, Beth Faber, Craig Davidson, and John Martin, I'm Dan Shulman saying so long from New York as we send it back to Kevin Winter with the Baseball Tonight post-game show. Kevin, it's all yours.
Dan, thank you very much. And we look forward to Game 7 tomorrow night at Shea Stadium in New York. It'll be the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. The winner will move on to the World Series, which will start on Saturday night in Detroit. Jeff Suppan goes for the Cardinals tomorrow night. Willie Randolph has yet to make his announcement as his starter for tomorrow night's Game 7. I hope to have that for you before the Baseball Tonight post-game show is over. Coming up next on the Baseball Tonight post-game show, we'll recap the Mets' 4-2 win win over the St. Louis Cardinals to force a 7th and deciding game in this National League Championship Series. You're listening to the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
The Office Depot 20th anniversary event, and we have great deals to celebrate. This week only, Office Depot has incredible savings on paper throughout the store, like 20% off a 10-ream case of Office Depot brand white copy paper. This is the last week of the Office Depot 20th anniversary event, so hurry in and celebrate the savings. In store only while supplies last.
So let's say you go shopping, and you walk into the first store you come to. The store says, hey, no need to shop those other stores. We'll give you our price and theirs too. Well, you think, that would save you time. But then you come to your senses. How do you really know if you're getting the best deal?
Car insurance websites that promise multiple rate quotes can't speak for Geico. Shop for yourself at geico.com. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
AOL users, now you can keep your AOL email address for free. Bring it with you to Net Zero and save almost $200 a year. With AOL's recent decision to let you keep your email address for free, you can get your email from AOL and your internet access from Net Zero. Net Zero is only $9.95 a month. That's less than half the price of AOL. And Net Zero ranks higher in customer satisfaction. So why wouldn't you do it? Take 2 minutes now and download Net Zero. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
It's here at Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealerships. The Right Now factory authorized service event with special offers on tires, brakes, batteries, and more. Buy 4 Michelin or BF Goodrich tires and get the Works Fuel Saver package on us. That's a Motorcraft synthetic blend oil change, tire rotation, and more. Genuine parts and service at Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealerships. Hurry, it all ends soon. Call 1-877-310-3673 or see participating dealer for details through 11/30/06.
This is the 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
Kevin Winter with you on the Baseball Tonight postgame show. The New York Mets have forced a 7th and deciding game of the National League Championship Series. Our recap tonight of Game 6 is brought to you by the National Association of Realtors. Realtors adhere to a strict code of ethics so you know you'll be treated honestly. Ask your agent if they're a realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors. The Cardinals and the Mets entered Game 6 at Shea, with the New York Mets having their backs up against the wall, trailing the NLCS by a count of 3-2 after losing last night. The Mets needed a win to stay alive. The Cardinals, meanwhile, with a victory, would capture their 17th consecutive, their 17th National League pennant, hoping to go on to the World Series for the second time in 3 seasons. Started out as John Maine against Chris Carpenter, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, against a 25-year-old rookie for the Mets who got in trouble in the top of the first inning. Had back-to-back singles to Albert Pujols and Scott Spezio, set up runners at second and third, but John Maine was able to get Jim Edmonds to strike out swinging. Juan Encarnacion was hit by a pitch. He loaded the bases, but he got Scott Rowland to pop out to right. So the Cardinals, with a threat in the top of the first, unable to push a run across. They left the bases loaded. In the bottom of the first, it was Jose Reyes leading off against Chris Carpenter.
The 1-1 and a swing and a ball drilled deep right center field, and the Mets are going to take the lead. A leadoff home run for Jose Reyes. 1-0 New York.
His first home run of the League Championship Series, part of a big night for Jose Reyes. The Mets get on the board first, 1-0. And they were able to back John Maine with that in the top of the third inning. The Cardinals again had runners at first and third, but John Maine able to strike out to get Jim Edmonds to pop out to right. Juan Encarnacion then struck out in the fourth. The Mets were able to capitalize again. They had 2 runners aboard. Sean Green at the plate against his former teammate, Chris Carpenter.
A look back by Carpenter in the pitch, a swing, and a base hit. Past a diving Eckstein into left center. Rounding third and heading home is Beltran. Back to second goes right, an RBI single by Green. 2-0 for the New York Mets here in the bottom of the fourth after that RBI single by Green.
Dan Shulman earlier tonight on ESPN Radio with the call. 2-0 at that point for the New York Mets, and believe it or not, that's all that John Maine would need after a couple of rocky innings to start, settled down in the fourth, but he was even better in the fifth. Basically, the top of the order, John Maine got David Eckstein to bounce out back to the mound. He got Scott Spezio to pop out, and then finished it in impressive fashion against Albert Pujols.
Here's the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss and a slider. Pujols strikes out, and the inning is over. A standing ovation for John Maine. 5 shutout innings and a 2-0 lead for the Mets going to the bottom of the fifth.
And the strikeout of Albert Pujols was John Maine's 5th strikeout of the night in 5 innings. In the bottom of the 5th inning, the Mets unable to push a run across. The Cardinals had a base runner in the 6th. A leadoff walk to Jim Edmonds. Juan Encarnacion then popped out, and that would be it for John Maine. He left after 5 1/3. Willie Randolph went to the bullpen, and he went on to get the submariner in Chad Bradford.
He sets. Edmonds is running, and the 3-2 is grounded weakly to short. Reyes shovels to second in time for the out. Back to first, double play. Even with the runner going, the Mets turn the 6-4-3 inning-ending double play.
Cardinals able to take advantage, not able to take advantage of a base runner in the 6th. They would not be able to capitalize in the 7th. Ronnie Belliard would lead off with a single. Yadier Molina would fly out, and then again another double play. Pinch hitter Chris Duncan would ground into a 4-6-3 twin killing, ending the threat. You went to the bottom of the 7th inning. The New York Mets threatening again. They got 2 outs and 2 runners aboard. Michael Tucker on second, Jose Reyes on first. After an infield single, they would move to second and third respectively. Paul LaDuca up for New York, trying to extend a 2-0 lead.
The 2-0 and a swing and a ball hit up the middle and into center, a base hit. In to score Tucker. In to score Reyes. A 2-run single for LaDuca. 4-0 for the Mets.
And it looked at that point as if the Mets would be able to push this game out of reach. The Cardinals would get out of further damage. You head to the 8th inning. Aaron Hyman allowed a 1 runner on in the 8th, but after that, he struck out Jim Edmonds to end the threat. No scoring in the bottom of the 8th inning for the New York Mets, so they carried a score of 4-0 to the top of the 9th inning. They turned to their embattled closer, Billy Wagner, and it became a little interesting. A leadoff single to Juan Encarnacion, Scott Rowland, then followed with a double. That set up runners at second and third. Ronnie Belliard bounced out to David Wright at third base. 1 out, nobody home, still 4-0 New York in the top of the 9th. Yadier Molina had a line drive to center that Carlos Beltran came on, and the Cardinals were unable to score. However, Billy Wagner unable to get past his nemesis, So Taguchi.
The pitch, and a slider yanked down the left field line, a fair ball. That'll get to the corner and score both runners. Taguchi with a 2-run double. He is 4 for 4 in the postseason. It's now the Mets 4, the Cardinals 2, and David Eckstein is going to come up as the potential tying run.
So Paul LaDuca's 2-run single in the 7th proved to be huge as Billy Wagner would give up 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning. Eckstein, the next batter, and what turned out to be the final one of the night for the Cardinals.
The 2-1, a slider bounce to the right side. Valentine has it on to first, and the Mets win it. It wasn't easy, but Billy Wagner finally subdues the Cardinals in the 9th inning. The Mets win 4-2, and the Cardinals and Mets are going to Game 7 tomorrow night at Shea Stadium.
Chris Carpenter takes the loss for St. Louis. John Maine the victory for the New York Mets. He went 5 1/3 shutout innings, giving up only 2 hits. He did walk 4, and he struck out at 5. He threw 98 pitches. Meanwhile, Carpenter settled down nicely, but did give up the 2 runs early on. He takes his first loss of the league championship series. Jose Reyes 3 for 4 for the New York Mets with a home run and 2 runs scored. Final line score, the Mets win it with 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They left 7. The St. Louis Cardinals get 2 runs in the 9th. That's all they'd get for the game. 7 hits. The Cardinals committed an error, and they left 8 men on base. So with the New York Mets win tonight, that sets up a Game 7 tomorrow. Series tied 3-3. The winners will advance to the World Series Saturday night to face the Detroit Tigers. We now know the pitching matchup for tomorrow night. It'll be Jeff Suppan for the St. Louis Cardinals. And the New York Mets are going to go with left-hander Oliver Perez, who did make 1 start earlier in this league championship series. Coming up next, the Baseball Tonight post-game show. we will preview Game 7 of this NLCS between the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll come your way tomorrow night from Shea Stadium in New York, right here on ESPN Radio. The 2006 National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio continues after these messages from your local station.
No one wants to have a car wreck, but if it...
Influenza can be a serious disease, especially if you're in high risk.
Are you talking to me?
If you have asthma, diabetes, or any other chronic medical condition, yes.
Are you talking to me?
If you're pregnant during influenza season, yes.
Are you talking to me?
If you're 50 or older, yes. If your child is between 6 and 23 months, yes.
Are you talking to me?
If you live or work with anyone in these high-risk groups, yes. Prevent influenza. Get immunized. Some people don't think influenza is serious, but they're wrong. Dead wrong. This year's influenza virus will kill as many as 36,000 people. Influenza is that serious. We are too.
Are you talking to me?
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 Yes, we're talking to you. Influenza vaccine is available in a variety of places. Contact your healthcare provider to learn more. A message from the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases and this station.
This is a College for Texans update, presented by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. The College for Texans campaign says if you think you cannot afford to go to college, think again. There's $4 billion in financial aid for Texas families every year. Chris Alvarado is with the College for Texans campaign.
Financial aid can come in various forms, and it's basically up to the institution to package that financial aid based on the results they get from the FAFSA.
And what is the FAFSA?
The FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. The students have to complete the FAFSA with their family's help and utilizing their family's income. The quicker it gets to the institutions, they'll be able to package that financial aid a lot sooner and get the family out the information they need for determining how much money it's going to cost, if at all, to go to college.
For more information, call 1-888-311-8881 or visit the website www.collegefortexans.com.
The Sports Animal. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Kevin Winter with you on a Baseball Tonight post-game show. The New York Mets winners over the St. Louis Cardinals tonight in Game 6 of the NLCS by a count of 4-2. That means there will be a Game 7 tomorrow night at Shea Stadium in New York. The winner will advance to the World Series Saturday evening in Detroit. Since 1985, the home team in league championship play has a 7-4 record in Game 7s of the NLCS. We do know the pitching matchups. Tony La Russa had set aside Jeff Suppan for Game 7 tomorrow night. It was Suppan in Game 3 who went 8 innings of shutout baseball, scattering only 3 hits. He struck out 4 and walked 1 in what turned out to be a Cardinals 5-0 victory over the New York Mets this past Saturday. And remember, Suppan had a home run in that game off Steve Traxel. Meanwhile, Mets manager Willie Randolph has opted to go with left-hander Oliver Perez on short rest. He went 5 2/3 innings Sunday night in what turned out to be a Mets 12-5 win. He did give up all 5 runs in that 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits. He struck out 3. And again, Oliver Perez will pitch Game 7 tomorrow night for the New York Mets, and he will do it on short rest. And Game 7 tomorrow night can be heard right here on ESPN Radio beginning at 7:35 Eastern Time. The winner will be crowned the National League champion, and they will head to Detroit for the World Series on Saturday night. That'll do it for the Baseball Tonight post-game show. Once again, our final score, the New York Mets beat the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 6 by a count of 4-2. They force Game 7 tomorrow evening. Our thanks to the media relations departments of both the Mets and the Cardinals, as well as Major League Baseball's broadcasting department. The executive producer of Major League Baseball and ESPN Radio is John Martin. The producer of tonight's broadcast is Beth Faber. Our technician is Craig Davidson. Our studio producer is Steve Haddad. Our technical director is Kevin Ingalls. And our production assistant is Tom Wassel. Every game of the postseason, including the World Series, is on ESPN Radio. The final one of the League Championship Series comes tomorrow night. Game 7, Cardinals and Mets, 7:35 Eastern Time. It'll be Jeff Suppan for St. Louis. Oliver Perez will go for the New York Mets. Check your local listings for broadcast times in your area. For more information, log on to ESPNradio.com. For Dan Shulman, Dave Campbell, and our entire crew, I'm Kevin Winter. Game 7 tomorrow night. Thank you for listening to Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Keep your car running right and save money today. Get to AutoZone now and change your oil and filter every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Now, for a limited time at AutoZone, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX motor oil and a Bosch oil filter for only $12.99. That's right, just $12.99. See store for details. Don't send your engine to an early grave. Get to AutoZone. Change your oil and get more life out of your car. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Please don't make me decorate this weekend.
Fine. No decorating this weekend.
Really?
Sure. Monday will be just fine.
Oh, man. I knew it.
It's the October Savings Event at Sherwin-Williams. This Thursday through Monday, save 25% on paints and stains and 15% on Duration Premium Coatings. Save an extra 10% on custom order wallpaper and get free shipping, too. Hurry, sale ends Monday, October 23rd.
Ask Sherwin-Williams.
For locations, visit SherwinWilliams.com. Some exclusions apply.